Everybody, cab nobody else's auto. Sunday evening, time for Sunday night live chat. This camera's a little wonky here. So we can straighten it up a bit. As always, we are live on two formats, both Facebook and YouTube. We are connecting on both of them right now. So we're rolling here shortly. We'll let everybody get their notifications, know that we're on. It's time for Sunday night live chat and get ready to roll here real soon. So looks like we are on YouTube, and Facebook is also going. So anyway, looks like we got a few people on with us. No comments or feeding as of yet on either format, which is really kind of weird. So I don't know if we've got an issue there or not. So we'll see what happens. We'll kind of roll with it for a little bit and see what's going on. But anyway, as always, we'll kind of get started with some open chat, talk about a few things that are going on. There we go. Lee from New York's on. Gary's on. So we do have some comments rolling on YouTube. Brian's on. Dispatch. Pete's here with us. James is on. There we go. Now we're boogieing. Steel Ponies is with us. Scott's on Facebook as well. So, hey, as of right now, everything appears to be working. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that continues. But like I said, we'll get started with some open chat, some general discussion. We'll do some badges. We're going to auction some stuff off. We're going to do a super cool, really early car magazine. Chris is on. Big Job made it. Jim's here. And as always, we'll do a little trivia. We'll talk about the raffle for the super cool Sinclair sign that somebody's going to win here in a few weeks, as well as talk about next week's videos and some new inventory and things that have been going on with me in that arena. So anyway, that all being said, looks like we've got some guys on with us. We'll go ahead and get ready to get rolling. Gary's thirsty. He's already ready for that. Gary's like, let's get it on. Get that Stutz Badge up there. Let's get going. So, yep, I did finally get a haircut. I needed one horribly, so we got that done. Before we get too deep into anything, there's a couple things, a little bit of housekeeping I wanted to go over real quick, so I don't forget. Pete Winters sent money for a t-shirt and the raffle. There is no shipping info on your receipt, so I need your shipping info for the t-shirt on that, Pete. Also, I need shipping info on number one on a couple of raffle items, a couple of trivia items that you've won. And Terry Sellers had a can from a couple of weeks ago that I have not gotten payment on yet, or I didn't get it, or there's a mix-up somewhere. So if you're on, Terry, that we're still hung up on that too. So just let me know where we're at on that if you could. So I wanted to mention those things before I completely forgot. So Buzz is on with Roadkill Customs. Rusty, Randy, Steve. So that's fine. Number one, just give me a call, or you can send it to that CSE3@Cox email address too. On that too, so I can get that stuff on the way to you. We just better keep rolling with that. You guys are ready. Chopper One's back on with us again tonight. Glad you made it. But anyway, a few interesting things going on. Average said hit the like button. Rico and Jess made it tonight. Glad you guys are on. But Barrett Jackson had a sale this weekend. I didn't watch any of it. I went back and looked at some of the results. Things look realistic for Barrett Jackson, for as realistic as Barrett Jackson can get, which usually isn't very realistic for a lot of us normal guys. But I didn't see a lot of stupid, crazy stuff, like we've been encountering, somewhat here lately. So Frank's on. Actually, the dispatcher package is here. We're going to pop that open Tuesday night. So, yeah, we've got a viewer box from Dispatch for Tuesday night to open up. Norma's on with us. J Brothers Garage on Facebook is with us. So, Chopper One looking for a dash headlight engine bay harness for an 80 Malibu. I don't have anything that's complete in an 80 as far as all that wiring and stuff being intact. So, anyway, if you are on Facebook and we have any feed issues like we've been running into, as always, we are live on YouTube as well on the Nobody Show channel. If you are on the Nobody Show page on Facebook, I cannot see your comments. If you want to comment, participate in the auction, participate in trivia, I cannot see those comments on the Nobody Show Facebook page. You'll need to be on the Nobody Else's Auto page, or you'll need to be on the Nobody Show channel on YouTube. As always, trolls, you guys do a great job taking care of them. I ignore them because that's who they want. They want me to acknowledge them. I ignore them. You guys help take care of them. I appreciate that. Watch your autocorrect. If I can't make sense out of your comment, then I basically will just skip over it and move on to the next guy, just because I can't stop and try to decipher what happened. So be sure to double check that autocorrect before you hit send, so that what I see makes sense and we can keep moving in the chat. So anyway, Kim and BW aren't going to be on tonight. They're not going to make it. William Alderman's here. Glad you made it. Just got his can. Perfect. So anyway, not much coming in on Facebook. If you guys on Facebook are commenting, I am not. I've only seen 2 comments that Facebook has fed me. Let's see. Jason's on the road. Have to catch up with the Hudson Badge when we get back to the house. All right. Well, you better keep rolling because we had it going right out of the gate tonight. But some exciting things going on. Obviously, I bought more cars this week, which I know surprises no one. But some other exciting things going on this week. Found another sign last night, a local sign that was upstairs in the rafters of an old building. That this building was a Kaiser Fraser dealer. It was a body shop. It was a tire shop. So we found a sign up there last night that we're going to be bringing you. It's a homemade hand-painted sign, but it's pretty cool. I'm thinking probably early to mid-50s era is when it was done. So got that coming up. That was a cool find. Just found that 8 o'clock last night. So that's definitely fresh material. Scott says, create a badge for ice cream. Well, this one can serve dual purpose. So, Chopper One says Facebook's been a joke lately. They've been making it tough for all, and there is some truth to that. Chopper One, I do definitely agree with you. What I have been doing on Facebook as far as boosting posts and running ads and things like that have absolutely not been getting the traffic that they used to get. So yeah, I haven't been extremely happy with the way Facebook has been operating either, which is why I'm focusing more with you guys on YouTube, because it pretty much does what it's supposed to do for the most part. Eloy made it. Let's see. No, I didn't buy a Greyhound. Number one saw the bus on the back shelf. I did not buy a Greyhound, but that's a super cool in-the-box brand new toy that I hadn't put up there. So I thought we would toss that one up and check it out. So anybody want to see the bus, we'll get it down and we'll take a look at it too. It's a pretty cool piece. So, but video Friday night. Did anybody catch the video Friday night? Kevin's on here with us tonight. The Pontiac swap went down last week. The 1966 Catalina headed to a new home and traded it for a 67 Grand Prix. One of our viewers called me who she had her first car was a 66 Pontiac. Her brother had a 66 Pontiac. She always wanted a 66 Pontiac and never found one that was worth building. So she bought a 67 Grand Prix and then saw the video on the Catalina that I pulled in. So she called me and said, hey, can I swap you the Grand Prix for the Catalina? So put that video up the other night. We're definitely going to get you a full walk around on that Grand Prix as well. So Old School made it tonight. So, but kind of a neat deal the way some of that works out and comes, kind of full circle on some of that. So if you missed that video, be sure to check it out. Stay tuned. There'll be a whole new walk around video coming on that Grand Prix soon. So Pete liked it. So yeah, Gary liked it. So yeah, it's fun when you can help. I kind of help put those pieces together, I guess, for as weird as that sounds. As we ride around this crazy train of life, that some little things like that I can help be part of and help put things in their place, so to speak, and help move things along. So Steel Pony says a great story all the way around. Big Job liked it. So yeah, it's cool when you're able to be part of that. Chopper One, do I go to Carlisle? No, I've never been to Carlisle, never been to Hershey. It's just so far away from me. It's just not really practical for me to try to catch those. But anyway, back to the bus real quick. Continental Trailways. Beautiful bus. Brand new. And here's the box. Continental Trailway Silver Eagle. I don't know what year this is. I'm guessing 60s probably, but that's just kind of a guess. It does have a price on the back. It looks like 97 cents and 3 cents tax for a $1. So I think that bus was $1 new, which was, a pretty fancy toy. But this is actually a pretty fancy toy with all the detail and stuff in it. It's a beautiful piece. I was definitely excited about it. So Norma digs it. Randy's on with us. Old school. I've been watching Steve Magnante's videos. I've seen him on Barrett Jackson on TV. But Big Jump says I'm the dream maker. I don't know if I go quite that far. That's right. Dispatch is driving 4,000 miles to pick up a Buick. So, is it friction wheels? Yes. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but it does have a friction drive on the front rear axle. The complete rear axle just spins. The forward rear axle is friction drive. So anyway, yeah, I thought that was a cool piece to throw up there. That's right. Gus says, get on the bus, Gus. Yeah, that's what we're doing tonight. So that was a cool piece. So I thought I'd throw it up there on the shelf. Actually fit the shelf pretty nicely. So that's what we tossed up for tonight. Old School says, looks mint. Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's a pretty nice piece. There's no doubt about it. You guys look thirsty. Williams has got to be vintage 60s. It's vintage for the price. Yeah, that's what I'm guessing is 60s. So, but what else is going on? I've been working with Buzz with Roadkill Motors a lot and Dalton with Pole Barn Garage, and we're getting a deal worked out for a Roadrunner that I've got here that's going to be Pole Barn Garage's next build. So it's going to be pretty cool. Been working with those guys. Looks like Dalton with Pole Barn is going to be out here next weekend, hopefully. So we're going to get some cool footage there. Got some cool stuff working with him. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Be sure to check out Pole Barn Garage and subscribe to his channel and check out the Holy Goat that he just finished. And looks like we got a Roadrunner coming up next. So we're getting all the details finalized on that. Buzz has been working with us with Roadkill Motors. It's going to be a super cool project, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're definitely looking forward to that. So stay tuned for what's coming up there. Be sure to check out Dalton's channel. And like we talk about all the time, Roadkill Motors, there's so much stuff on there that Buzz has that is so handy that a lot of you guys have used, that it's pretty cool to see that, we're all hanging out here and you guys are using what, Buzz has on his Roadkill Customs page with all of the interchange and all the tips and all the DIY. All the stuff that he's got on there is so handy and so helpful. That's right. He's excited about it. He says it's going to be an epic build. It is going to be fun. So Kevin's on with us. Glad you made it tonight. Stutz Badge. So that's what I've been working on. We'll get ready to get into some badges, and then we're going to sell off a few of those oil cans that we found in the old building on the old farmstead from the auction a couple weeks ago. So nope, the answer is not the Great Bend Sunday Tribune. It is not. That is not the answer. So Brandon's on. Let's get into some badges tonight. First badge, another one from the Wichita Swap Meet. We're down to 2. So this week and next week is what we've got from the Wichita Swap Meet. This one's really cool. It's been drilled. Other than the fact that it's been drilled, it is super cool. Beautiful piece, great colors, and a very, very rare badge at that. So we'll start off with this earlier badge. And like I said, the ones we got at the Wichita Swap Meet, other than the Hudson badge, the duplicate Hudson badge that we sold off, that the rest of these were so cool. They came out of an old private collection, and the guy that was selling them, he got them from the estate. So this is some early stuff, weird stuff that we didn't have anything on, just like we showed you, a few that we've looked at over the last few weeks. But this one is definitely stands out. It's one of those cars that's kind of legendary that you don't hear a lot about. So I'm kind of hyping it up a little bit because it's so cool and so different, other than the fact that it's been drilled. This badge is for a Stutz 8. Great colors. It's kind of almost an army green background with an orangish 8 and orangish wings, a deep blue Stutz with some lighter blue above it. Dispatch, you got the pedal car. Mike Shook from Auto Artistry was our winner on the pedal car a few weeks back. So the Stutz 8. Now, unfortunately, this badge, like I mentioned, has been drilled. We'll put it up against the Sinclair sign. You can see where they drilled 2 little tiny holes in the corners of this thing to mount it. So, unfortunately, that kind of sucks. This Stutz badge, Tony's on with us, is about 2 3/4 wide by 1 7/8. So it's not a real big one. 2 3/4 across is all this is. 2 3/4 from here, and 1 7/8 high. So not a ginormous badge. When I was doing some research on this badge at my favorite new website, American Auto Emblems, this is a 1926, 1927 Stutz badge. Now, and Jason's trying to buy it. Well, I'm not going to sell it. This one's mine. They did, and when I looked it up on American Auto Emblems, they did caution you about buying these because there were a batch of reproductions made. However, they said the reproductions had a threaded stud in the back. This one actually, we can see there's no hole for no threaded stud. This actually had a place where it's broke off, but it had the big, button where they press them on. So this should be an original Stutz badge. So Ironhead's on. Big Job says put it on a pedal car. Harry Stutz had many jobs in the auto industry before he designed a rear axle mounted transmission and set up the Stutz Auto Parts Company to make it. He acted as a consultant to the people building the Empire car, but a few weeks later he built his own car and entered it in the first Indy 500 race in May of 1911, where it achieved 11th place against much bigger, more powerful cars. The slogan for the Stutz car immediately became the car that made good in a day. This is all off the American Auto Emblem site. The Ideal Motor Car Company was set up to go into production of the Stutz Model A, which was a 60-horsepower four-cylinder offered in several body styles, including the now famous Bearcat. As Pete says, yeah, it's not really flashy colors. They are kind of weird colors. That's another good point. Not real flashy, just kind of different. The Bearcat was a racy-looking open two-seat car with a long steering rod and a cylindrical gas tank mounted high behind the seats. In 1912, a 70-horsepower six-cylinder line was added, which also included a Bearcat. In 1912, also, the Bearcat was entered in 30 different racing contests and won 25 of them. The company was reorganized in 1913 as the Stutz Motor Car Company. The Bearcat continued to win races, and in 1915, Cannonball Baker drove a four-cylinder Bearcat from San Diego to New York in a record-breaking 11 days, 7 hours, and 15 minutes. A light 23-horsepower roadster called the HCS model was introduced in that year. And that's right. You said Cannonball Baker across country. That's right. That's where they got the name for the Cannonball Run when they started doing that in the early 70s, was from Cannonball Baker with his cross-country runs back in the teens. In 1925, under new leadership, the Stutz was redesigned to become a more refined but attractive automobile rather than a tough racer. The Stutz Vertical 8 arrived in 1926. Right there. There's the 8-cylinder in 1926. With sophisticated low-slung bodies. In 1928, the Blackhawk Speedsters were introduced and won many races to become America's fastest production car at 106 miles per hour. A less powerful, less expensive six-cylinder car by Stutz called the Blackhawk was introduced in 1929 as an independent make. 1929 was a troubled time for the Stutz Company with several lawsuits, and a new management was brought in. In 1932, the 115-horse SV16 and the fabulous 152-horse DV32 were introduced, and the legendary Bearcat name was revived. So, you guys are looking a little thirsty. Ironhead says he remembers his grandparents coming home in a real one. Yeah. Alec from New Hampshire made it on. Glad you're here on Facebook. Hopefully you guys on Facebook are hanging in there. The numbers are kind of wonky over there, so hopefully you guys are hanging in there. If not, we can always jump over to the Nobody Show channel on YouTube. But now the Great Depression was underway and efforts were made to reduce costs and prices, but sales fell and production slumped. In 1934, just 6 Stutz cars left the factory, and it was all over for the Stutz automobile. by 1935. In 1932, the Stutz Motor Car Company of America bought the Pack Age Car Organization and produced the Stutz Pack Age car until 1938. The Stutz Motor Car Company was finished in 1939. So there's a little bit of history of the Stutz Motor Car Company. William, I think there was one maybe 2-year TV series called Stutz Bearcat. That I don't remember. But the Stutz, Tony, do you have any Chevy badges? I got tons of Chevy badges, tons and tons of Chevy badges. So, yep, I've definitely got those as well. So there's a little bit of history with the Stutz Motor Car Company as well as the Stutz Badge that we recently added to our collection at the Wichita Swap Meet. So, like I said, and not only, it's not a huge badge, it's not an in-your-face badge, 2 3/4 across, kind of soft, mundane colors, not real bright and flashy. But I guess the Stutz Motor Company decided to let the engines and everything else do the talking in that window. So that's what we've got for tonight for the early badge was the Stutz, an original 1926, 1927 8-cylinder Stutz badge. Kim made it for a little bit. Great. Glad you're on with us. Now, as always, we jump up a little bit for our next badge. So, big job. So many badges, so little beer. Just have to get you a pallet of it or whatever. That'll last you a while. Speaking of which, Kenny says, cool badge. You got his war plate. Perfect. Glad you got it. It's a great piece. It's a little piece of history when you think about, the way they did those things are crude and rude, just whatever they could do to conserve and save metal. Nope, Alec, I'm not selling that one. The Stutz is going into my personal collection, right back into my bag of goodies from the Wichita Swap Meet. But this one is a keeper. We'll recap a little bit real quick since I've got them here, actually. So I added 5 to my collection. We bought 6. One of them was identical to this. This is now, I believe, an Alec, because I think Alec got this one as well. Alec's got some cool badges. But over the last few weeks, we have looked at the Chandler 6. Like I said, these are different ones. These are cool. Another beautiful Hudson, a really ornate Hudson, as well as a Jewett. And now the Stutz. We got one more for next week. One more new super cool, super neat badge. Just to give you a perspective of it, there's the back of it. That's how big it is against my hand. Next week's badge. Stay tuned. It's going to be cool. It's epic. No, the answer is not the cacti of Kansas. That is not the correct answer tonight, number one. So, on to the next badge. You guys might need that badge first, though. We're going to jump up a lot of decades this time to one of my favorite cars. Number one says we're going to be able to identify badges by the sound. We're going to move all the way up into the 90s for this next badge and one of my personal all-time favorites. And this is actually a spare that I ordered for my car. And it was just laying there. We've never looked at it. I was like, well, that's a pretty cool piece. These cars, kind of set the car world on its ear when these were introduced. Lance is on with us on Facebook. Alec just likes them all. He just likes all the badges. Be very, very careful with that statement, Alec, because that's why my daughter and I now have hundreds of them, and that adds up quick. So yeah, I know you like them all. So do I. But I'm just forewarning you. You might want to enter a treatment program before it gets out of hand. It might not be a bad plan. So, let's see what else we got going on. Big Job says, where do you finally display them? My daughter's got some boards that are done with them. Some of them are in cases, things like that. It just varies. So, Josh, just saw you're trading a Roadrunner to the Pole Barn Garage this week. Yep, we just talked about that, Josh, just a few minutes ago. That we're getting everything finalized on that deal, and Dalton's going to be heading out, and we'll get that Roadrunner headed back to him, so that the Holy Goat is going to have a new stablemate. But the next badge, this thing, like I said, this car set the car world on its ears when this thing was introduced. It going into the 90s, coming out of the 80s, we were starting to see some glimpses of performance by the late 80s. Again, obviously the Grand Nationals were pretty, for their day, were really quick. We had tune port injection that came out on Corvettes and Camaros and Trans Ams. So we were getting there. We were starting to see it. Kenny's guessing Trans Am. Nope, not Trans Am. Although you obviously know I like Trans Ams. I got a slug of them too. Darren, Facebook would still like to buy one from you. Depends on what we're talking about, Darren. As far as what you need, you can always give me a shout too on what you want to buy. So that must have popped up shortly after we got done with something. So, but no, it's not a Trans Am badge. But like I said, we were just starting to see the signs of life in that time period. The 5.0 Mustangs were starting to get a little oomph to them. Chrysler was doing a lot of turbocharging, even with the 4-cylinders, the GLH Omni, the little Shelby Chargers. There was possibilities of it. We could start to see glimpses of it, and that was my time period. I graduated in '93, so we were starting to see that stuff happen, and it was cool. See, number one says Quad 4. Nope, not Quad 4. Brandon says Typhoon. Nope, not Typhoon. Even more dramatic than that. And obviously, with me being in high school at that time, being a car guy, when these things came out, it was insanity. I still remember the very, very first one I ever saw in person. I've still got pictures of it somewhere when it came through on a 3-car slant. That's the kind of thing that, that's what these things kind of set their world on its ear. Like I said, they're playing with turbocharging on 4-cylinders, the tune port in GM, that type of stuff, the 5-liter Mustangs, they were starting to get crazy with those. The aftermarket was coming alive in a lot of that stuff. And number one got it, the Dodge Viper. When Dodge came out with that Viper in 92 with a 488 cubic inch, 400 horse V10, 6-speed manual, no windows, and Scott hit it just at the same time. Viper. Scott on Facebook got it just right after number one did. Yep, the Dodge Viper. Like I said, it was started as a design study. Carroll Shelby was involved with it heavily in the development of it. It was designed to be a modern day Cobra. That's why the Gen 1 cars, there are no windows. There are no top. They had kind of a top and kind of windows you could like snap on, but they did not have anything as far as any sort of creature comforts. No air conditioning, no power windows. We didn't even have glass windows, literally. So it was a whole different car that literally shocked the world that Dodge actually put this thing into production. Win the backseat letter stencils. So Pete came in with Viper as well. So you guys were all thinking along the same lines. Around 2016, Chrysler sold off most of their Viper inventory, and I ordered a couple of extra of these just to have them. Williams there, hit the like button. Yep. Dispatch, hate the disappointing one, but I don't know much about cars built after the 70s. So, but these badges, they're great pieces. These are heavy. These are like heavy porcelain type badges. I think they're kind of like a porcelain. This one's brand new. It is a stick-on. This is almost 3 inches wide and almost just under like 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. This is like a Gen 1, Gen 2 badge. My car is a Gen 2. It is black, so that's why I've got extra black badges. It's black with cognac leather, RT10. So there again, these cars were not supposed to be built. Nobody thought they would ever build them. Nobody could believe they were going to build them. When we were just seeing the trickling of performance coming back, and then Dodge just comes out and kind of punches everybody in the face with a V10 Viper, no automatic available, no traction control available, no windows available, no air conditioning available, no nothing. You couldn't an option, you just couldn't get it. It wasn't on the option list when on the Gen 1 cars. Didn't have it. period. End of discussion. You couldn't get it. Like I said, modern day Cobra is what it was designed after. Steel Ponies, were blessed to have Carol Shelby come along and help the car industry. Yep. Number one, I read on Allpar that nobody ever expected the Viper to get past the next stage every time it was internally reviewed. So lots of details were omitted because some thought it was a waste of time. I think I have heard that too, that even internally, people didn't think this car was going to happen. So, and that's what makes it, to me, that's what really makes it cool. So, obviously I graduated in 93 when the Vipers came out. Huge deal. Anybody in the car world recognized it. Then, of course, I go to Chrysler after college. After I graduate from Pitt State, I end up getting a job with Chrysler in warranty administration. So I'm traveling all over the country going into dealerships, and every dealership pretty much had a Viper on the showroom floor. So to me, that was pretty cool. I really got into them. I had the chance to buy this car, gosh, 10 years ago. Holy cow. I bought that car in 2012. Wow. I didn't realize I've had that car 10 years. It's kind of crazy. I think I put 200 miles on it in 10 years, and and 50 miles of it was driving it home the night I bought it. But yeah, so I'm a big fan of them. Pete, Viper was the definition of the American muscle car when it came out. Yeah. Number one says Viper badge chug. So Josh, did you work at Chrysler manufacturing plant? No, I was actually in warranty administration. My program was based out of CTC in Detroit. I traveled and went in to work with dealerships as basically a service department consultant. So no, I wasn't in a plant. I was in warranty administration. Basically, we went into service departments, looked at how they were running, and tried to make them more efficient and more productive, both on warranty. But if they got more efficient, more productive on warranty, they were more efficient, more productive on customer pay as well, and tried to help the service departments run better. And that's in a nutshell what my job was. My title was field warranty specialist, and I ran out of warranty administration out of Chrysler Technology Center in Auburn Hills is where my boss was at. So, yeah, William's got about 9 of them, but they're all miniatures. So, warranty admin, you behind all these calls? Nope, I'm not behind any of the phone calls. That's for sure. So, to me, the Viper was always a special car, from what I remember when they came out from working for Chrysler. So when I had the opportunity to buy this car, I grabbed it. The only thing wrong with the car is it's got bad paper. It does have a salvage title, and I've got the Carfax on it. And it's kind of odd when you look at the Carfax. The car was sold new. My car's a 99. It's got 16,000 miles on it. It was sold new on a lease. And within the first year, it was stolen, and then it was recovered before it was chopped up, and then it was bought right back by the person who had leased it. So, yeah, kind of a fishy deal. Who knows? I don't know. But that's the way the Carfax reads on it. So it's got a salvage title, but it was never wrapped around a telephone pole or anything like that. The front bumper cover needed a little bit of a lining, so I took it over to Auto Artistry to Mike Shook. And he said it had been bumped in the front at some point. He found a little bracket that looked like it had been tweaked under there, but it's never been wadded up or hit hard, but it does have a salvage title due to a previous theft recovery. So, but that's why, this Viper badge was laying there, obviously, and the Viper market is gone bonkers. If you're looking at Vipers or you're thinking about a Viper, you better buy one before they get any worse. I can't believe what the Viper market has done in the last 6 months, but it's going through the roof. Some of these ACR cars are well into 6 figures, and some of them I'm seeing over 200 on some of the ACR cars. So the Viper market is definitely strong. But to me, I love them. They're great cars. I was excited when I had the opportunity to add one to my collection. Had this badge laying there. It is a pretty badge. It is cool. There are a couple of different variations of them. Like I said, this is Gen 1, Gen 2, and then 3, 4, and 5. They had some other different badges as well. And it's just a similar badge with different faces on the snake is what it amounts to. So, number one, did the late 80s, early 90s paint warranty baptism you by fire? I didn't start with Chrysler until June of 97. So the paint issues were pretty much over by then. We got into just a little bit of it, but very little. So I didn't deal with much of it. There was a little bit of it still hanging, but pretty much over by June of 97 when I started. So, big job. What did I do with all my suits and ties? Didn't have very many. I only had a couple. I typically just wore slacks and like a Chrysler golf type shirt. So, Number one, I had 87 Marquis that was totaled because the vinyl roof got tore from a hailstorm. It was a salvage title. Yeah, sometimes it's pencil pushers, that's for sure. But the thing about Vipers, if you are interested in Vipers or like them, they made Vipers from 1992 to until 2017. And what's crazy about it is when you look at Viper production. Now, remember, you're talking 25 years of production with the exception of like 09, 10, and 11. Somewhere there was 2 or 3 years in there they didn't make them. So it wasn't a solid 25 years. But there were over 20 years of production over a 25-year span. And they made about 30,000 Vipers. Total. Complete. That's it. You compare that to Corvette, they make more Corvettes than that every year. You know, you look at like the 63 to 67 window of Corvettes, which are super popular. They made like 100,000 of those in 5 years. 30,000 Vipers total, period. That's it. That's all that's out there. And, of course, some of those have been wrecked and totaled out and things like that. So not a lot of them out there. My car is fairly common in the Viper world. Black with cognac 99 RT10. They made 126 or 128 of them. So it was a fairly high production color combination on that particular car. So, but that's what we've got. So Jason's almost to the house, so we better get that worked in so he's ready to go. But that was the other badge, a little bit of history behind the Dodge Viper, why I personally love them. And, you know, the fact that there's just only so many of them to go around. Now, are they going to be a Cobra? No, they made it just over 1,000 Cobras total. So obviously, you know, a lot more Vipers out there by comparison to something like a Cobra. However, when you put it into perspective against like the Chevrolet Corvette, not even in the same stratosphere as far as, you know, what's out there to get. So, Brandon, there's a salvage yard in Indiana that specializes in Vipers. I haven't seen that yet. I'll have to try to check that out. So, but like I said, obviously I'm a fan of them. I need to get mine back out one of these days. The power steering pump pulley broke last time I had mine out, and that was like 4 years ago. So I probably need to put a power steering pump pulley on it so I can drive it again. But power steering pump pulley and a new belt's laying on the shelf. I just got to put it on. But I thought that was a worthwhile discussion piece to work into our badge segment because it is still a cool piece. It is an important part of, you know, what I think is going to be a huge part of automotive history. You know, like I said, are they going to be 7-figure cars like a Cobra? Probably not, but some of them could be. Some of the ACRs and things like that. Some of those more rare ones, they could end up being 7-figure cars. Who knows? This is the different, you know, this is the stuff we're looking at. What's going to come up down the road? We don't know. We're speculating. We're thinking. But, you know, for me, I just like them. You know, if they go up in value, great. If they don't go up in value, great. Because I like them, and that's why I've got one. John jumped on with us on Facebook. Number one, when they came out with the V10 pickup, I was ready to V10 the world. Yeah. So there we go. Two completely different spectrums of the automotive world. However, both very performance related. The Stutz, which placed 11th in this first Indianapolis 500 immediately after it was put together and rolled into the performance-oriented Stutz Bearcat. Cannonball Baker drove one across the country. They did have a lot of performance-based stuff with the Stutz Bearcat for its day. Fast forward up to the late 80s when the Viper development began with Carroll Shelby, and then like the crazy thing happened that they built the car. A lot of ties between these two vehicles, although 75 years apart, you know, actually basically 80 years from when the Stutz went to Indy in 1911 and the Viper was actually being produced and put out in around 91, 92. They were 92 models, but I think some of them were coming out in the 91, 91. So 80 years difference, but both kind of did the same type of thing. You know, the Stutz kind of took the world by storm. Performance-oriented car, brand new car, straight out of the box, goes out and places at Indy. And the Dodge Viper comes out, a car that shouldn't have been built. Nobody would have ever thought would have got built and became legendary, just like the Stutz Bearcat did, and then the Dodge Viper 80 years later. Josh, I used to have a neighbor who had a Viper as a daily driver. Do you plan on a yard walk soon? If you do, take some time showing some F-bodies. Actually, Josh, we could do a whole yard walk on F-bodies if you want to do that, because I've got 50 or 60 F-bodies. But a yard walk around is definitely in the cards. I've tried the last couple weekends. I can't get a nice day. Today was not bad, but we definitely had wind today. This entire week has been almost nothing but wind. So, but yes, a yard walk is definitely planned. There's no point in doing it unless I've got a calm day to where I'm not fighting the wind and all you guys are hearing is wind noise. So yard walk, stay tuned. Like I've been telling you, I will try to post, give you guys an hour or two notice before I go do the yard walk so you guys can get on and hang out. So BW made it tonight. So Wayne Carini did a series on the Bearcat. Let's see what else we got going on there. Ben's here on my way to work at Chrysler. Okay. Let's see what else is going on. Peter Griffin here, new here. I need a 68 to 70 Roadrunner. Well, the only Roadrunner I've got in that window is heading to Pole Barn Garage, probably next weekend. So but I'm glad you stopped by, Peter. If you're new here, thanks for swinging by and hanging out. We do this every Sunday night. We have a lot of fun on here. I hope you make it back. So, Josh, either way, whenever possible, I still plan on making a trip up there this summer and getting some parts. So, anyway, there's the badges for tonight. Two completely different cars, 80 years apart. However, and Peter did sub. Great. Thanks for subbing. Appreciate that. You know, the Stutz with the Bearcats and the 8 cylinders and the Dodge Viper. Cars that shouldn't have happened, did happen, became legendary in their time. And here we are talking about them tonight on Sunday Night Live Chat. So hope you guys enjoyed them, because it's definitely some cool stuff with a lot of ties. Blick, glad I'm starting to save the vans. Yep, I'm all about saving the full-size vans. I think there's going to be a market for the full-size vans, and there isn't going to be any of them left for parts because those things are really great at holding iron. When iron guys get a hold of them, they hold a lot of iron, and they crush out real nice when they're stuffed full of metal. So I don't have a ton of full-size vans, but when I can get them, I grab them, and we're going to put them out in the yard and hang on to them. You can drink the Stutz or you can drink the Hudson Badge. It's right there. Chris is new. Christopher, I'm not even going to try your last name there, dude. Glad you made it tonight. Some first-timers on here. Glad you're all here. Appreciate you stopping by. Be sure to click that subscription button and be sure to click that notification button since we do some lives on here. But who's ready for some auction stuff? Yeah, if you're new here, we're going to sell some stuff too. You're going to have a chance to buy some stuff. You're going to have a chance to win some stuff. And like I promised you, when we bought the 84 Impala at the farm sale and we bought the contents of that building, there were a lot of cans in there. I'm going to give you guys the chance to buy some of those cans tonight. These are fresh off the farm sale. I rinsed them off a little bit so we can kind of see what they were. But let's get rolling and sell some of these cans. And actually, I don't even know what I'm going to sell. I've got like a pile right here. You can't see it, but right here, there's a pile. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 7 cans, a whole box of badges, some license plates, all kinds of stuff. So, Frank, the Stutz Blackhawk was also made from 71 to 87. Yes, that's right, too. I forgot about that. Kenny says hit the like button. Yeah, you and William, all you guys, you got my back on that, too. The stencils in the backseat, I have no idea. I mean, that whole box is full of stencils, number one. I don't know what's in there, so Alex says he's ready. He's giving a thumbs up on Facebook. He's like, let's get this deal going. So, Mr. PFF Fire fell asleep in front of the computer and just wake up. Or am I alive or is this a dream? Well, I guess it could be either one. We are alive. We're still kicking. So, Pete says just sell everything. Sell everything. So, there's the Hudson Badge. Let's get everybody primed up and ready to go. What do we start with? I got enough stuff here. We'll be selling the rest of the night, so we can't sell all of it. We'd be here a long time. But we are going to definitely sell some of these cans. What do we want to do here? Let me look. Let's start off with a double shot. Yeah, we're going to do a 2-for-1 deal. 2 for 1 on a pair of early Phillips 66 cans. Blick, talking about vans, looking for a set of turbine 8-lug wheels, just not 16.5. I've got a 74 Beaumont that's got, I don't remember if it's got all 4 of them. I know it's got 3 on there, so you can give me a shout on that tomorrow. I'll see what that thing's got. We're going to start off with a pair of Phillips 66 cans. These are early orange cans, 1 quart oil, 1 pound grease. The 1 pound grease is a little rough. So we'll start off with the motor oil, Phillips 66 motor oil can. These are the ones from the farm auction a couple weeks ago. It's got some rust, surface rust over here. This is full. I will need to drain it unless somebody wants to pay extra shipping for it. Metal can, dented on the side. This side looks pretty good. Come over here in the back, we see the original metal seam. I got number 1 at $8 to start us off. We ain't even showed the other can yet. But this does, the front part here does look good. The Phillips 66 shield looks great. So Jess got the Ursa can, and it's beautiful. William is at 10, and I ain't even got to the second can yet. So the second can is rough, but since it is an orange Phillips as well, I wanted to throw it in with this one to sell them as a pair. This is a 1 pound grease can. It is a lot rougher. We can see the shield here, but not nearly as clear. We do see this was the earlier orange can. So since this one is a little rough, I figure I'll throw them in as a pair and we'll sell them that way. So I've got William at 10. Anybody wants to throw their bids in there, get rolling as we check these things out. And we will set them on a timer here in a little while. So Rusty Nails is here tonight on the pair of Phillips 66 cans. Get your bids in. Let's get moving. The grease can still has the original top on it, but it's pretty rough. Has some writing on the back, but it's still it's still not real clear on there either. Jason has one just like that, rough on one side even. So anyway, I've got Pete at 15 on the pair of Phillips 66 cans. So let's get rolling. I'm going to get the clock ready so we can put this on the timer. As always, once we get this on the timer, be sure to get your bids in. Eric's on from, looks like Britain. And because inevitably we always run into somebody because of the system that comes in late and we don't get it. So keep an eye on your bids. Keep an eye on the timer and be ready as I announce, because I will announce when we're going to give you 90 seconds. I'll announce 30 seconds, 60 seconds, and when we're getting close to 90 seconds has passed. I've got Pete at 15 on the pair of Phillips 66 cans. So here we go. We're on the timer, 90 seconds, and go. Like I said, not the best cans, but this one does present well. This is just a good add-on piece to go with it. Jason found it 2 years ago lying in a ditch in the middle of nowhere. So get in on these. Pete's going to steal them at 15 if nobody does. We are on the timer. I've got Buzz at 17 with Roadkill. And we have hit 30, right at 30 seconds. We've got a minute left. So now it's time to be thinking about your max bid to jump in on these. And so you don't get left out at the end when the time runs out and the system doesn't feed your bid through in time. So we are at the halfway point. 45 seconds has passed. Roadkill at Buzz at 17 on this pair of Phillips cans. So keep an eye on both formats as of right now. And we're about to a minute. We're right up at a minute. So if anybody else wants in, Buzz may get these cheap. So here we go. 30 seconds left on this one, and then we're going to move on to a couple more cans or badges or whatever anybody wants to do. So 15 seconds left. We're getting ready to wrap this one up. I got Joe at 18 on Facebook. 10 seconds left. If anybody else is going to sneak one in, I've got Joe at 18 on this pair. And that does it. I've got Joe at 18 on those. Let me jot that down real quick so I don't forget it. And there again, then Buzz comes back in at 19. So that's, there again, we're up against that system, the feed on it, and you know what we're up against when it comes through. So what do we want to do next? How about a pair of Fords? I'll do these as a pair. They're kind of cool pieces. One is like a Model A type radiator badge. The other, I think it's like a dash badge for a Ford. Buzz says, congrats, Joe. He loves ratty cans because Buzz loves ratty cans too. So let's do these Ford badges. Let's do 2 of these. These are going to go as a pair as well. This is like a Model A type badge. It's whammoed a little bit at the bottom. This was the press-on button type back here. And I got Steel Ponies Jeff at 15. Number 1 came in at 8, but I already had Jeff at 15. So Alec at 20 on these, and then Norma at 20 as well. This is kind of I think it's a dash badge for like a late 40s. It's kind of cool. It's a curved piece. I've got Lee at 25 on them as of right now. So the oval badge is a flat badge. This is a curved badge. Ford and Ford, kind of neat pieces. Rusty Nail says, looks like the grill on the 40 pickup. I don't think that's 40 pickup. I've got Rusty at 30. Alec came in at 25 on Facebook, and I've got Rusty at 30 as of right now. So we're going to go ahead and put these on the timer. And as of right now, close up on the oval badge, says Kenny. Okay, there it is. And I'll give you a size on it as well. The oval badge is 2 7/8. 2 7/8 across. I've got Alec at 35 and about an inch and a half high. So that's what that one is. I think this is pre-shoebox, like 46, 7, 8, something like that, or maybe even early 40s is what I think that is. As of right now, the high bid is Alec on Facebook at 35. So this one's about 4 3/4 tall, but that doesn't count the curve. So anyway, high bid is Alec at 35. Let's put this thing on the timer. Yes, Kevin, it is for the pair. You're going to get both of them. I get turn this one right side up. Alec at 35, and we are on the timer as of right now. 90 seconds. Here we go. Alec at 35 on the Ford badges. There they are. Check them out. You're going to get them both. Alec is my high bidder at 35. Dash badge seems heavy. It's not. It's a little bit heavy, but it's just weird since it's got a curve to it. It's just kind of hard to hold them both at the same time, where you can still see them both. So, but anyway, Alec at 35 is my high bidder. 30 seconds has passed. And we're down to we're rolling into the last minute. So keep an eye on both formats. I've got Alec at 35 on this pair. So if anybody wants in, we're at 45 seconds. We're halfway through. I've got Rusty at 40 is now the high bidder on the pair of Ford badges. So Rusty's our high bidder. We're coming up on a minute, getting close, and 1 minute has now passed. We're down to the last 30 seconds. Be thinking about what those max bids are, and be sure to get them in. Rusty at 40 is my high bidder right now on the pair of Fords. I've got Alec now at 45 on the pair of Ford badges. 15 seconds left. If anybody wants to get in, Alec at 45 is my high bidder. 10 seconds left. Here we go. We're down to the end. Be sure to throw it in there if you're going to get it in because the system may hold you up. I've got Alec at 45 as of right now. And that does it. I've got Alec at 45 on the Ford badges. So, and a couple more great pieces for Alec's collection. Set those off to the side. What else do we want to do? I want to do something kind of different. And I don't think this is going to bring much. So, maybe you guys will like it. These aren't that rare. It's kind of cool, and it's something kind of different. So, we'll see if anybody wants it. Just because it's kind of different. It was actually, this came out of the farm. So, yep, thumbs up to Alec. That's right. And we'll probably do something else after this because I don't even know if anybody's even going to want to bid on this, but it's kind of cool. So I wanted to throw it out there. This is a smaller can. We're going to shift gears a little bit. Sam's on with us. No, the $500 oil can guy did not pay up as of yet. I give everybody 2 weeks, so which I mean kind of isn't shocking, but no, I haven't got paid for that yet. So that can will probably be back up for auction, I'm guessing. The only one I know was the one we talked about earlier that I just hadn't heard much on yet that I need to touch base on too. So, but this can came out of that collection, so I thought I'd throw it up there if anybody wants it. It's not a high dollar can, but it's kind of cool. And we're gonna shift gears a little bit from a car can to he probably won't. I'm guessing he probably won't pay, and then he'll just get added to the list where you don't get to play no more. It's that simple. Have a nice little list where you don't get to play anymore when you do that stuff. So. Big Job says, I got more badges than an Eagle Scout. There's probably some truth to that. So, what's a $500 can look like? I got a bunch of them over in that case that are probably a lot more than that, actually. There's some in that case I've paid a lot more than that for. So, but this can, like I said, I don't even know if anybody's even going to bid on it, but I'm going to throw it out there because it's different. It's a tobacco can. It's an old Prince Albert crimp cut long burning pipe and cigarette tobacco. Don't know if anybody has any interest in this whatsoever, but it was in that building, and it's kind of cool. And here's what's cool about it. The Prince Albert, and this is a metal can, metal Prince Albert can, pops open on the top. But the back, number one's in at $8, so somebody wants it. The back says Prince Albert special offer, old timer knives, each only $2. So this is what I thought was kind of cool. Nora got Norma at 10, so Mr. PFF Flyer has a couple in his kitchen, so Kevin's got one. So I guess some of you guys think it's cool. I thought it was neat, but Lee's in at 15, so that's cool. If you get, I'm happy. I'm happy that you guys want to bid on it because you want to add it to your collection and do something with it. So, Sam, see those in mining videos. I've got Michael Carpenter at 16 is our high bidder on this. So we're going to go ahead and get this one ready for the timer as well. Reset it to 0. And like I said, all you guys, you have these and they see these sometimes. Number one wants it for jokes. Tony says his dad smoked that when he was younger. What's cool about this is the extra advertising on the back with the old timer knives, special offer old timer knives. And this is probably from the 50s or 60s, and these were the old timer knives. So, but I've got Lee at 20. We're going to go ahead and throw this thing on the timer, and here we go. We are live on the timer. Lee at 20 is our high bidder on the Prince Albert can. But neat piece, especially with the extra advertising on the back. Original lid still intact. Pops open, fits almost tight. So Lee at 20 is our current high bidder on the Prince Albert Old Timer Knives can. That's right. You got Prince Albert in a can, let him out. I've always heard that. So Buzz says it's too pretty for him. He needs something a little rougher. So it's a little bit smaller than the polishing cloth can. Because I've actually got another polishing cloth can, a different brand down here. It's a little smaller than that. Similar type shape with the rounded sides, the oval top. So what's it smell like? It's been in that building so long, I doubt it smells like any tobacco. So 1 minute has passed. We're coming up right on a minute. We missed the 30-second warning. I've got Lee at 20. So Lee is our high bidder at 20 on the Prince Albert can. We're getting ready to wrap this thing up. If you're going to get a max bid in, now's the time to do it. 20 seconds left. Getting ready to wrap it up on the Prince Albert with the special offer of the old timer knives. 10 seconds left. I've got Lee at 20. Kind of a cool piece with the knives on it and the old Prince Albert stuff. Just about ready to wrap it up. And there we go. That's it. I've got Lee at 20 on the Prince Albert can. Mr. PFF Flyer says, that reminds me, I think he hit some cash in his years ago. So. Okay. What's everybody think? Are we done? Want more? Want to move on? What do we want to do? You guys tell me. We did 3, so. If we want more, I've got some more cans here, some other stuff. But I got 2 or 3 more cans we can absolutely do. Whatever you guys think. So Jeff from Canada is on with us. Norma says more. Jess says one more. So Jess says let's do one more. Norma wants more. Kenny wants more. Everybody wants more. Okay, we'll do at least one more, then we'll see what happens. Number one's in at $8 or whatever it is. Let's see. What do we want to do? How about another little non-oil can, but a different kind of cool automotive can? This is in really nice shape. It is a little different. It's like I said, it's not an oil can, but it looks great. I think this is probably 60s. This can is really nice. Great paint, great color. It is a metal can, but it's not a regular oil can, but it is cool and it is awesome looking. William, good, but I saw one at an antique shop for an Albert can for $60. So, any other badges? I don't know. I've got a whole box of badges here, actually. I just don't know what we want to dig out. I haven't really dug through much of that stuff yet, so we may wait till next week on those. Number one's thirsty, so. Number one's a full dollar bids only. That's a good idea. So, but this can here, like I said, it is automotive, and I think it's great, even though it's not an oil can. It is K-Site Cooler. Increases cooling efficiency, stops rust, acids, and foaming, protects water pump seals. K-Site Cooler. I'm guessing 60s era. This is metal. We can see the actual metal seam on it over here. It's got the K-Site dude up here, kind of. Yeah, that's right. Check this stuff out. Randy says, hold on, he's got to run to the beer coolers. Instructions on the back: concentrated engine cooler, shake well, pour in radiator. One thing I thought was cool about this, Jess is in at 12 on it as of right now. This is a pop top. Yes, this is a pop top right there. Literally pop it and pull it. So, number one came in at 11, but I've already got Jess at 12. This is an old school pop top, so it's got to be old because it was a pop top. But it is full. I will drain it unless somebody wants it shipped full and wants to pay extra shipping. Old school at 17. On the K-Site Cooler. So, neat can. Jess is at 19. Let's get ready to put this thing on the timer. And here we go. I've got Jess at 19. We are on the timer on the K-Site Cooler can. Like I said, original metal, original pop top, K-Site cooling system treatment. Good colors, good graphics, great condition, original pop top. So, Jess at 19 is where we're at as we come up on the first 30 seconds on the timer. Keep an eye on both formats just in case we have somebody jump in on Facebook. 30 seconds has passed. Jess is at 25. Old school came in at 1950. William at 13. I've got Jess at 25 is my high bidder as of right now. 45 seconds has passed. So halfway through, as we get ready to wind this one down, it is a cool piece. Even though it's not oil, it is a cooling system treatment can. When you got this dude on it, it's got to be cool, right? 1 minute has passed. We're down to 30 seconds. Wrapping this one up, I've got Jess at 25. And Old School says he's tapped out. So I've got Jess at 25. 15 seconds left on this one as we wind this down. And just about done. Nobody jumping in on this one on Facebook. So there we go. That does it. I've got Jess at 25 on the K-Site cooling system treatment can. All right. Jess is partying. Kenny says, drink to Jess. There we go. And then Joe just got one from Joe at 27 on Facebook. So there again, we got into a bind on the feed on that one. Sorry about that, Joe. There again, we're at the mercy of the systems on these things. So I was watching for you. It just didn't get there in time. So anyway, reset that. Are we ready to do a magazine, or what do we want to do, guys? You tell me. You guys are helping navigate this ship too. So we just had to miss Joe on that one after I already sold it to Jess. So okay, we'll try to get Joe next time. But what else we want to catch yet tonight? Are we ready to do a magazine? More badges. Thanks for it. Joe says no problem. Appreciate that. Tony says let's move on to the magazine. So he does. Let me dig some badges out for next week, and I will try to old school stuff. We got a Playboy for tonight. No, it's not a Playboy for tonight. Let me go through some badges and get a couple of badges out for next week, and maybe we'll do a couple badges and then a couple of cans next week. So I'll sort through some more of that stuff as well, and we'll see what we can put together there. So we'll go ahead and get started on the magazine. As far as what we've got tonight, we're gonna go early on the magazine. Probably one of the earliest ones we've ever done, actually. Number one's still trying to buy stuff. He wants to bet. He's bidding $8 on everything. So, so anyway, we're gonna back it up. You know, we've been doing some 70s era stuff. We needed to get back into the 50s, and I kind of started looking through some stuff. And Brandon's got to jump off tonight. Glad you were here for a while. But I wanted to back up a little bit on time after doing some 70s stuff. And we ended up backing way up. When I found this one, I was like, well, I want to back up. Let's just back up. As we all know, car magazines really kind of started hitting their stride, or really started coming about in the late 40s, really. Hot Rod came out in 48. That's when it was really, you know, the guys coming back from the war started messing with cars and bikes, and that's where it really started ramping up. So when I found, you know, so anything late 40s, early 50s, you know, there's not a lot out there, kind of hard to find, and definitely a different time period, not only in the world, but especially in our hobby. Do you have model car mags? A little bit, not a ton. So we're going to back up to August of 1953 with this issue of Hop Up and Motor Life magazine. So like I said, we're backing way up this time and going to get early and check out what they've got going on in here. And really take a look back in time. We're going back almost 70 years. So 70 years ago in our hobby, what was going on? Well, we'll start working through it. I got to be real careful with this one. This thing's getting pretty fragile, so I'm going to try to be real careful. Joe's, do I have any Oilsum cans? I don't have any extra Oilsum cans. I've got one sign. I'm actually looking at my Oilsum sign right there. I've got a 1938 painted Oilsum, the cream of 100% pure Pennsylvania oils. If motors could speak, we wouldn't need to advertise, an original painted one. So that's a cool sign. So, so anyway, let's kind of start working our way through this thing. And obviously we're looking at a whole different world, you know, essentially from what we know today, because this was the infancy of what we know. Starting off with an article called Bonneville Previews, and it really shows some of what was really starting to happen as they were laying out a fiberglass body. And these pictures are probably going to be fairly difficult for you guys to see, but the Bonneville Previews in 1953, a custom body for a streamliner type car. No, Kenny, this is 1953. So this is definitely some early stuff, and definitely a different time period of what we're used to in the hot rod world. And you know, this is where they were really starting. This is some of the Bonneville stuff. It shows they actually had a model of this, working on chassis. This was all crazy new technology for the time period. But we'll jump up a few more pages. And this is a very interesting article here and really cool. Detroit, I don't know what this, Quavadis or something. What's the reason behind Detroit's experimental cars? Are the auto manufacturers on the right track or not? And obviously the prototypes are so cool. You know, they're legendary in the car world today. Some of these became reality. Some of these didn't. You know, it shows a Cadillac prototype right here. Was this the Le Mans? Yes, the Cadillac Le Mans. Obviously, the Chevrolet Corvette, which we know did make it to production. The Kaiser Darren, which did make it to production, at least 435 of them. You know, it backs up a little bit to the Cord. And there's a few more on the next page that were pretty much just strictly prototypes. You know, the Chrysler d'Elegance, you know, that car never went to production. Buick Wildcat 1 never went to production. Well, actually, I didn't think about this. I call this car Wildcat 1, but in here it just calls it Wildcat. Wildcat 2 wasn't built yet. So this is in 53. Obviously, one of the most well-known, most well-publicized prototype cars next to the Buick Y Job was the 1951 Buick Le Sabre. You know, of course, at this point, this thing was still on the show circuit. This is 53, you know. So, you know, weird. You know, but there again, we've got to take ourselves back in time. We're looking at this with 2020 hindsight. We've got to put ourselves in these windows, and that's what we try to do with these magazines. So, you know, the Lincoln Continental, the Chrysler Airflow, you know, and this one does not have a full picture of it. Of course, this was a new prototype at the time. Obviously, there's the Airflow, the Lincoln, the Chrysler, or the Pontiac Parisienne. So, we look back at them today and say, wow, man, those are the prototypes, the show cars. These things were still on the show circuit at this point, a lot of these. Rusty Neal says that vet looks like a T-Bird. Degenerate Fabricators is here. Glad you're on. So it's weird, you know, that these cars are so cherished in today's world. And these things were just, hey, let's check out what they're doing. It's out on the show circuit, so that's what's going on. So, but there again, that's when we're taking ourselves back in time. We've got to put ourselves in those positions. We have to rethink about it. Just like when I read that article, it said, wow, the Buick Wildcat. I'm thinking, hey, that's Wildcat 1. Wasn't thinking that Wildcat 2 hadn't been built yet. So that was still the Buick Wildcat. And actually, kind of a funny story about that car. Number one, just imagine what cars would look like the last 7 years if the Airflow was popular. Yep, that's something else to think about. But, and I kind of forgot about that. When this car was restored, when Wildcat 1 was restored, that car had a very exotic dual master cylinder braking system on it that was very complicated. I believe Joe Borch did the restoration on that car, and we actually sold him a power brake setup out of a 53 Roadmaster parts car that we had, so they could put a standard normal Buick single master cylinder braking system on that car to make it more drivable compared to the somewhat exotic system that was on it that was going to be very difficult to try to restore it and make it work correctly. So, and here again, this was another article that I actually skipped right over to start with, flipped right past it. Then I kind of did a double take. Why? Because I had to put myself in 1953 and realize why this was an article or an important article. The overhead valve Forge 6. This enlightening article on hopping up the Forge 6 was written for Hop Up's book, The New Overhead Valve Engines. Now, obviously, at first, I skipped right by that because that's an inline six-cylinder Ford. But in 1953, it was an overhead valve inline six-cylinder Ford, not a flathead. So that was, and that's a perfect example that I had to say, okay, wait a minute. There is actually relevance to this in 1953. In today's world, not that big a deal. In this time period, it was. That's right. Number one says everything was a flatty. That's right. So there again, we've got to put ourselves back in time. We've got to take this in and look at where we're at, or where things were at that point versus where we are now, to see what was important at that point. Another thing about it, I've actually got way more ads on this one than we had on articles because there are so many cool things. But another article in here, this was kind of cool. Another outstanding car from the Barris shop is this frantic Ford. Chuck DeWitt of Long Beach, California was the proud owner of a 50 Ford convertible. The convert was just an ordinary looking Ford, nothing extra done to the outside. But under the hood was housed a full house Merc bomb that had propelled the car to 118 mile an hour on gas. That was not speedometer time, but clocked by the Rosetta Timing Association at El Mirage Dry Lake. Chuck's a member of the LA Coops Club of RTA. The only trouble with a car like this is you can't see all that power in the engine. In fact, you can't even see the engine when the hood is down. The power can't be proven to other motorists legally, that is, by street racing either. So Chuck decided to improve the carriage this engine was transporting around the streets. This is where Barris comes in. Chuck took the convert to Barris Customs in Linwood and told the brothers Barris to give it the works. I want the craziest custom Ford in the country. The outside has to match the engine to make it show like it goes. Several months and $2,300 later, this fine custom convertible was wheeled from the Barris shop. So several months and $2,300 later. Now, obviously, $2,300 is a pretty big deal in 1953. But there it is. Obviously not the famed Hero Hata Merc that they built, but still a super cool custom. Of course, this is 1953. This is around the time they were doing the Hero Hata. So it is definitely a different type of a deal. I mean, there again, we've got to put ourselves back in 1953, which is tough to do because we're talking about the infancy of hot rodding and a lot of this stuff. So it is a whole different deal that we've got to kind of consider and think about when we're talking about the time frame. It does appear to be a Carson top. Yes, it does. That's what it looks like. I don't remember what it said in the entire article about it, but that's what it does appear to be. So I'll let you guys take one more look at it. Trying to be careful with this thing so it don't fall apart on me. On the Barris Customs Frantic Ford. Another deal that there again, number one, the Carson tops have to white. I don't know, but it sure seems like it. Once again, putting ourselves in 1953, the Plymouth V8. The Plymouth V8 in 1953, Plymouths were flathead sixes. DeSoto Fire Dome V8 engine hides beneath the deceptive exterior of the stock-looking 53 Belvedere. So super early engine swap on this 53 Plymouth two-door hardtop. So take a look at it real quick there, and it looks just like a basic 53 Plymouth. Or Rusty Nails can't get a lawnmower now for $2,300. That's true. So a Plymouth with a V8 was a pretty big deal at that time. And we'll get to the next page, and it actually does show, if you guys can see it, it's going to be a little tough, the actual engine in that thing where you can check it out a little bit better. But obviously a DeSoto and a Plymouth, very similar bodies, and they made that DeSoto Hemi fit in there. Definitely one of the early Hemi swaps in 53, considering, the Chrysler Hemi came out in 51, and the DeSoto Hemi I don't think came out until 52 or 53. So, that's literally brand new technology at that point. We think of a Hot Rod magazine, just as she'd drive it, as far as building old school hot rods, building, Model A coupes and 34 Fords and 39 Fords or 55 Chevys, in our time period. This magazine was hop up, but these cars, the 50 Ford convertible we just had customized, the 53 Plymouth you did an engine swap on in 1953. So stuff that definitely is, you really got to think about. Just like when I saw the overhead valve 6-cylinder Ford article, I had to stop and think, why is this here? Why is this relevant? And then it hit me. Because in 53, that was a big deal. That was a new engine, and they were talking about the performance parts that were coming out for it, the dual car manifolds, things like that, what you could do with them. Kind of crazy. But I bet you guys are getting thirsty for one thing. But that was about it for articles. There was a few other ones, but there again, with these pictures aren't real great, it's kind of tough to spend a lot of time on some of these articles. However, there is a ton of great ads in here, so we're definitely going to get into some of those as well. And as we flip open the inside cover, we have the, even in 1953, the mandatory J.C. Whitney ad. Now, you save up to 50% on auto parts and accessories right on the inside cover. Anything in this era has J.C. Whitney in it. It's pretty much a guarantee. They got the whole inside cover on this one. This is obviously very early. A lot of the J.C. Whitney ads we look at typically are, 1 or 2 pages with a lot of product on it. This is not a lot of, product after product like a lot of those other ads typically were that we're used to seeing in this, by the later 50s for sure. Another one that was pretty cool. Obviously, the company's still around today. Any news, Kevin? Any news about the Hudson Hornets racing? That was a big deal in the early 50s. No, I didn't see anything about any Hornet race cars in this issue. But there again, when we look back almost 70 years, and we look at some of these ads, and so we look at these companies that are still around, just like Edelbrock. The Edelbrock Power Punch. You could get a quad jet manifold for a 49-53 Ford Mercury, which is a 4-barrel for a flathead, and cylinder heads, the iconic Edelbrock Fenton aluminum heads for flathead Ford's full-page ad. Right there on Edelbrock. And there again, when we talk about a lot of these companies been around for a long time, a lot of these companies been around for a long time. Another performance company that was very popular back in the day, and I don't know if they still produce anything or not. The name was definitely recognizable in the 50s, and that was a Navarro intake. The new Navarro dual duplex manifold features progressive carburation that performs smoothly at all speeds and under all conditions. Use the carburetor that won the Mexican road race, the winner, Navarro intakes. All right, let's flip back a few more pages here. To another company that was extremely well known back in the 50s. Dispatch 53, best era to be born, teenage years in the 60s, the muscle cars. Buzz at Roadkill, spent hours thumbing through those and thinking about dreaming. Yeah, that's for sure. And there again, we're looking back at all these names that were so popular back in the 50s. The next one, we're going to catch the same thing. Fenton cast iron exhaust headers. They were kind of the go-to guys for split manifolds and things like that. Fenton, back in the day, right here, great ad there. Like I said, this is all black and white, but we still get the point. We see the heads, we see the intakes. Definitely looking back in time. And you've got to remember, not a lot of engine choices either back then. This is 1953. So you've got to remember, obviously the flathead Ford was the predominant V8 coming out in 32. Cadillac had a flathead V8 as well that came out in the late 30s. But as far as an actual overhead valve V8 that could breathe, Cadillac and Oldsmobile in 49, the Chrysler Hemi in 51. But you've got to remember, in August of 1953, there was no small block Chevy. Didn't exist. Wasn't even on the market. Was in development. When we think about that today in the world of hot rodding, that there was no small block Chevy when this magazine came out. And you think about the performance, you think about the aftermarket and what we see today when we look at something on Jegs or Summit or any of these other big companies, and you look at all the stuff that's available for all these different engine families, and you look at what they had to work with in 53, and it was pretty limited. So when we look at these ads and we don't see big listings of parts, that's part of it. There wasn't a lot of those engines out there yet. Very, very few. So and another iconic speed shop from back in the day that was, once again, something very well known back in the 50s. And this is a full-page black and white ad for Honest Charlie Speed Shop, Chattanooga, Tennessee. This one actually did have some parts listed in it. 1939 to 53 Ford balanced exhaust header, which was a whole balanced exhaust system. Merc only hop-up special. Tony, does anybody here know anything about Fenton 4-speed shifters? Don't know a thing about that. I don't know if anybody else on here does, but I sure don't. But in this Honest Charlie Speed Shop, I'll show you the ad, then I'll read a little bit of this to you, just so you kind of get an idea of what we're talking about. This full-page ad over here for Honest Charlie Speed Shop. Full dual exhaust systems, intake sets, cam degree wheel, adjustable steering arm, exhaust baffles, all kinds of cool stuff. Chrome wire looms. Number one, I used to circle the parts from those ads that I wanted to put on the cars I thought I could afford in the classified. Yep, I think everybody did a little bit of that. But let's check out their Merc hop-up special that Honest Charlie was running in August of 53, right up here at the top. Let's get into this a little bit real quick. Let's see. Pair, one left, one right, popular brand, high compression cylinder heads, $85. One dual intake manifold for 2 carbs, highly polished aluminum, $55. One set, ball bearing 2 carburetor linkage, $7.50. Gas line and regular linkage kit, $4.50. 2 chrome Hellings carburetor air cleaners, $11. Total retail, $163. Send money order for only $99.99. So, heads, Merc only, set of heads, intake, linkage, fuel lines, air cleaners. No carbs, $99.99. So, Mike's on with us a little late. That's okay. No problem. We're still working in the magazine. So that was your deal. You didn't get any carbs, but you got the intake, the heads, the linkage, the fuel lines, and the air cleaners for $99.99. Of course, that was a fortune back in the day. In 53, that was a ton of money. But it's fun to look back at that, about what was available and what they were doing at that time. And that was a deal. Chris, yeah, you can't even get the gasket kit for that today. That's not too far off. So, yeah, the gasket kit would cost you more than that. Number one says he'll take 5 of them. I think we all would on that. Next ads we're going to check out are on the same page, actually, so we'll spend a second here checking them out. And there's 2 cool ads on this page. One is actually for a used car dealer, and the other is for performance parts. The first one for the used car dealer, custom cars and roadsters, too good to be called used. Andrews and Evans, San Fernando Road, Burbank, California. Try us before you buy. California's largest and best selection of used customs and roadsters. If you're planning a trip west this summer to pick up a car, or if you're just looking for ideas, stop and say hello. The next ad, and I'll hold these up and then we can check them out once I tell you what they are. For the Eastern Auto Custom Accessories Company from in Los Angeles, California. Chrome motor kit, electric door and trunk kit, 4952 Chevy bullnose molding, 2-tone custom steering wheels, and custom grill bars. So both these ads are on the same page. We'll take a minute to check those out. Starting off up here at the top with literally a used car lot specializing in customs and roadsters. Andrews and Evans in 1953, that's what their forte was. Customs and roadsters. They're again, this is a national magazine, and that's where they're advertising their used car lot in California because of the custom and roadster craze. Things were really getting crazy. It was really taking off. These magazines were coming up. A lot of these companies were pretty new at that point. We still know a lot of the names today, but in 53, they were still essentially new companies. And then down here at the Eastern Auto Accessories Company, we've got the chrome dress-up kit for $22.50, the electric poppers, custom steering wheels, custom grill bars, and custom bullnose hood molding for the 4952 Chevy, where it was a 2-piece hood, and it rolled over in front of the hood ornament. They had a small piece of metal that covered that they had custom ones of those as well. So one, a custom shop or a custom accessory place here, and a used car dealer specializing in customs and roadsters in 53. So like I told you, not tons of articles, but great ads in here. And another one, and actually we've still got 4 or 5 ads to go. That's how many cool ads are in here. The next one is for the Newhouse Automotive Industries Company in LA, international headquarters for heads and manifolds. And we'll go through, they've actually got a big price list. We're going to hit some of the high points on these, because there's a lot here, but it's a full page ad. They've got a lot of details in here. I'll catch a few of these. We show intakes, we show heads for the Newhouse Automotive Industry Corporation. Obviously, they got a full race, looks like a full race flatty up there in the picture. Let's check out some of the prices from the international headquarters for heads and manifolds. Starting off with Chevrolet 37 to 53 dual manifolds. And they carried everybody. Newhouse, Offie, Edelbrock, Tattersfield, Nixon, or Edmunds. $42.25, your choice. Cadillac 49 to 53 dual two-throat carb manifold. Now 49 to 53, we are into the overhead valve V8. That manifold was $69.50. This is pretty big bucks for the day when you think about what guys were making. Steel Ponies, I can remember looking for parts years ago in Hemmings in the old-fashioned internet. Yep. Dispatch is getting thirsty, you're right. I apologize. We should have got that up there a few more times. I'm getting into these old ads so much that I kind of spaced the Hudson badge off. High compression aluminum heads, Lincoln V8, 49 to 51, Edelbrock or Edmunds, 89.50. Here's an interesting one. Henry J, 4-cylinder and Jeep, $39.95 for a high compression head. So there again, and like I said, there's so much stuff in here we could get into. Edmunds heads for 36 to 48 Cadillac. That would have been a flathead V8, $79. Hudson Hornet 51 to 53, $74.50. Nash Rambler and Statesman dual intake and head combination, $64.50. So Kenny says it's a great magazine. Then I'm glad you guys dig it. Number one likes the Henry J. It'll fit the Allstate. That's correct. It would. So that's the ad from the Newhouse Automotive Industries, the world's largest distributor of high-performance automotive parts, the international headquarters for heads and manifolds. So like I warned you, there's going to be a lot of cool ads. So I hope I'm not disappointing with the ads. So Jason, I remember the old Hemming sitting on the back of the toilet when I was a kid. Yep. Let's see, a couple more. This one, actually a couple of them here we're going to catch. One from the Gotha Company and one from the Paramount Speed Company. The Gotha Company, Chicago area, visit our speed shop in Harvey, Illinois. Dual intake manifolds, exhaust cutouts, dual exhaust manifolds. And the Paramount Speed Company was primarily exhaust. So here's the Gotha Company in Illinois, split manifolds, dual intakes, exhaust cutouts. The Gotha Company, Chicago area, visit our speed shop. That one I don't ever remember hearing about, so that must have been a local deal. Shopcat's been busy tonight. We got to drop in. Glad you made it by for a little bit. And now over here to the Paramount Speed Equipment Company. Sensational introductory offers. And these were primarily exhaust packages. Check these savings. Mufflers for all cars. 15-inch steel pack mufflers, $3. 18-inch, $3.50. Headers for all models, Ford Mercury. Headers only, $16. Headers with extensions, $20. Headers dual kit without muffler, $26. Headers dual kit with muffler, $35. Headers for all make 6-cylinder cars, Ford, Chevy, Dodge, Plymouth. Headers for all make V8 cars. So literally high performance exhaust is where they were really pushing the Paramount Speed equipment company. Scott, love the flamethrowers on the exhaust. Yep, that was always cool too. So Tony says, I knew it was going to be an awesome magazine. Well, I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I'm glad and like I said, the articles were okay, but the deeper I got into the ads, I was like, this stuff is epic. So when we're getting close to the end, but there are a couple more that we want to catch. Something else that was just starting to come about. Buchanan made it tonight. And this is a small ad from the Capital Speed Shop for Fender Skirts. There again, and that's what's so cool. This is a whole different world. It's a whole different era. Special offer, Flair Fender Skirts, one of California's fastest growing speed shop, offers this Get Acquainted special. Engineered to the latest custom design, these skirts are cut from the finest quality heavy gauge steel. Smaller ad right up here at the top from the Capital Speed Shop on Fender Skirts, $8.95 a pair. Chevrolet 49 to 53, Chrysler 53, DeSoto 53, Ford 49 to 53, Mercury 49 to 53, Plymouth 53, Willys 52 53, $8.95 per pair. So lowering blocks, $3 a set. Now, the next ad, this one really caught my eye. Obviously, today, absolutely legendary. Big Jump says Cruiser Skirts. Cruiser Skirts were typically a little later in the 50s. So, and obviously, after what we saw the Hero Hot Merc do, completely legendary. On top of the Batmobile, the movie cars, and everything else. But in 1953, the Barris brothers were just getting started. They just hung their shingle out. They were just trying to make some things happen. They're trying to make a living and build some cool cars. Introducing the Barris Hollywood Custom line, 1953 Ford Custom Grill Trim. Replaces center spinner, high-quality chrome, simple 15-minute installation, $11.95. The new Barris line of exhaust tips, caddy style. Simple installation through bumper, easy-to-follow instructions included. Finished in non-corrosive, highly polished aluminum, $19.95 a pair. Square or round exhaust tips, $6.95 each. Jet type bumper or regular installation, only $6.95. Important announcement. Watch for a complete line of Barris Hollywood custom accessories soon. Push button windows, custom auto polish, floating grills from the Barris Hollywood custom line, Burbank, California. So that's right. Buzz says caddy style. Number one, that was 53, 7 years before the mini skirt. Kevin's got skirts on his 51 Hudson right in this era. But there again, we see the custom Barris shield. There's the caddy style bumper tips. Literally looks like it went right over your bumper and you run your exhaust through them. So, but there again, Barris was a new company. The Barris brothers were trying to make a name for themselves. They were doing whatever they could to make money. They were trying to make a living at doing this stuff. So that's what they were doing. They were running ads in these magazines. They were trying to sell parts. They were trying to get jobs. The same as what a lot of us do all the time. So Jason, looking for skirts for 52 Plymouth. I don't think I have any of those. But yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about that, in 1953, the Barris brothers were running ads in magazine, trying to sell some parts and trying to build some cars. 10 years later, obviously, it was a whole different world. They were doing movie cars, celebrity cars, things like that. But in 1953, they weren't no different than anybody else out there trying to make a go of it. Something else that I thought was very interesting, because of what the time period was and then the way things ended up even today. From the Hollywood Plastic Products Company, 1211 West Magnolia Boulevard, Burbank, California. Please rush to me at once your Fiberglass Starter Kit. I enclose $5 to cover costs. The starter kit contains complete how-to instruction manual, complete set of working tools, plastic resin, fiberglass cloth, fiberglass mat, price list of all available kits and bulk material. You can build this body for only $180 out of fiberglass from the Hollywood Plastics Company. So I thought that was really cool. There again, plastic, fiberglass. This stuff was really, really sketchy at the time. Nobody knew much about it. It was new technology. So that's kind of crazy that they were trying to get people to use it, trying to experiment with it. We're using it on your project, build your own car, whole different deal. So kind of a neat ad to put it into perspective for that time period of 1953. You know, the Corvette just came out and it was fiberglass, and everybody was kind of, oh, what's the deal there? We're not sure. We don't know what's going to happen. Is this thing going to fall apart? Is it going to melt in the rain? Nobody knew, you know. So it was definitely different for that time. One more ad that we're going to catch, and then we're going to move on. On the back cover, a Huth original, the Huth Muffler Company, the Hollywood Glass Pack muffler specifications. According to horsepower, small cars 1 3/4 ID at muffler $895. Big cars 2-inch ID $995 for those mufflers. Balanced dual exhaust system, balanced dual header system. We'll look at a few of these here in a minute after I show you the ad. I actually put a little bit of color in this ad on the back cover. You know, craziness for 1953 to spend money on color. But the Huth original exhaust system, Huth, whatever it was, we're talking balanced dual exhaust systems. They were already working with this stuff. You know, I mean, obviously exhaust is a huge deal on cars today to make things breathe. They're working on it in 53. Balanced dual exhaust system featuring the Huth custom or Huth custom Hollywood glass pack mufflers. 53 Buick. No power steering or power brakes, $49. This is the system, the way I read this. 49 to 53 Oldsmobile, $39. 50 to 53 XK120 Jags, $45. Chris, Corvette parts built by molded fiberglass in Ashtabula, Ohio is where a lot of that stuff comes from. So the balanced dual header systems also featuring Hollywood glass pack mufflers. If you wanted headers, your 49 to 53 Oldsmobile kit is now $78.50 as opposed to $39 if you wanted to get headers with it. So pretty cool the way they have this all set up. Jerry Huth says, we have had many requests for a durable muffler with a low, deep, smooth tone. After months of research, testing, and fabrication, we offer to you the toughest and smoothest of them all, the Hollywood Glass Pack, guaranteed for life. So, Jason's on a beer run. Better give him something to drink. So there it is, the back cover, a Huth original on exhaust system, balanced exhaust systems, with or without headers, make that thing breathe a little better. They were trying to get those overhead valve engines to really start breathing. That's what they were working on in 1953 with the Hollywood Glass Pack muffler. So that pretty much wraps it up for tonight with Hop Up and Motor Life magazine from August of 1953. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, I told you we were going to back up, and we backed up in years. There's no doubt about that. So even though it was a little earlier, a lot of cool stuff. Hope you guys liked the ads as much as I did and thought it was super cool and a lot of fun. So Kevin likes it. He thought it was cool. Like I said, these magazines are, you know, there's always going to be something in them. Some of them, there's so much cool stuff you can't get it all in. But it's always fun to go back in time and with 2020 hindsight, look at the hot rod world back then. And that's what's crazy about it. 53 Plymouth with a Soto Hemi swapped in it. In 53, I mean, you couldn't swap anything out of a 2021 or 2022 vehicle hardly and make it work without redoing everything. I mean, it's kind of crazy what they were doing back then. Full custom 50 Ford, craziness. That's right. Look at the Dagmars on the custom car, on the cover car. Yep. Kenny's dad was in 9th grade in 53. So that, like I said, that's what's great about it. Jason says, leave me alone. I've been drinking. Well, let's help you out with that. But going back in time, 2020 hindsight, seeing what was going on in the hot rod world at that time, putting it into perspective with what we know today and what they were dealing with at that point. Just like I said, the overhead valve 6-cylinder Ford, literally right past it. I was like, wait a minute. There's a reason for that to be in here. I didn't get it, but it took me a second, but that was it. So anyway, that's what we've got for the magazine tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's do some trivia. Let's talk about the raffle. Let's talk about new videos. Alex says old school hot rods. That's exactly what they are. Dispatch, can't wait for Roadmaster walk around when you get to the yard. Looks straight and solid. Yeah, it's a pretty neat old car. Big job. Shows how much has changed, but still cooler and more simple time in life. Yep. Plus, we're going to be getting a video on that Roadmaster here soon. I have a ton of videos I've got to get you guys caught up on. Holy cow. Well, I went through my list last week on Thursday, and when I showed you my list right here, when I went through this thing Thursday, I owned 37 cars and trucks that I hadn't picked up yet. So I got boogieing on that Friday and Saturday and hauled 8 or 10 of them in. But yeah, when I had 37 cars that I'd written checks for, I figured I probably better pick some of this stuff up. But so anyway, lots of stuff going on there, lots of stuff to do videos on, including that Roadmaster. It's a 57 Buzz, 57 Roadmaster 4-door hardtop, loaded to the gills. Steering, brakes, air, windows, seats, Wonder Bar. I mean, just tons of stuff on that thing. So we'll definitely be getting that video. And we'll get to that stuff here in a little bit. Let's get to trivia, and then we'll get to the raffle and new inventory before I get too far off on the new inventory yet. So raffle, and I know some of you guys have been talking about it, so I bet somebody's going to get this one tonight because we were talking about it earlier. Is it priced yet? It's probably a parts car. It's been sitting for a really long time. But like I said, I'll get a video on it. Tour Fiddler, my favorite was your 68 Chrysler New Yorker Red Fastback. That's a cool car. It's just a little rough around the edges with no engine or anything in it. So, but that is a great car. You are right. That is a cool New Yorker. But when we did the video on the 1984 Impala from the farm sale, we did a bunch of digging through it. We were looking through it. And as always, we are going to put this on the timer. It is going to be on 90 seconds. But for as many comments as we've had on the video already, I bet somebody's going to get it. When we started digging through the back seat, in the back seat, there was a bank. What was the bank? It was not car related. We are on 90 seconds watching both formats. But like I said, we've had a lot of comments on that video already tonight. So I got a feeling, yep, that's what I figured. Jess and Rico apparently both watched it because they got it. So Kenny got it. That's kind of what I figured. It was an owl. Like I said, for as many people as we're already talking about the junk in the car that we found, I didn't figure that was going to take too long. Old School came up with it. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't figure I was going to have to put that on the timer, but I did it anyway, because that's the process. But when there was that many comments about digging through that car, I figured a lot of you had seen it. So anyway, Jess is our winner tonight on that one. I guess and Enrico came right after. I guess they can fight about it. So Jess put up a little owl. So I got Jess on that. So thanks for playing, everybody, even though that one went quick. Tour Fiddler, am I the only one old enough to remember the Chrysler commercial where they're singing "What a Beautiful New Yorker"? It's the talk of the town. Presumably the show car in New York City. I don't remember it. Jess says it's mine. Okay. It is yours, Jess. It's okay. Dispatch, am I still reading the old newspapers? No, I haven't started reading the old newspapers yet. No. I actually thought about getting really tricky and digging into some of those classified ads we looked at. I was like, that might be a little too tough. So, of course, what I did pick was obviously a little too easy because I had like 5 right answers in 10 seconds. So, anyway. Jess is our winner on trivia tonight. The raffle. Let's talk about the raffle real quick. Lots of guys getting in on the raffle this time, and girls. Hudson Badge. This month for April, obviously the Sinclair pump plate. This is porcelain, single-sided original Sinclair pump plate with the dyno. Here it is original metal. It is original porcelain. Great piece, not huge, perfect display size 13.5 by 12. Nice piece on that for the raffle. Second place in the raffle, like we talked about last week, is going to be a pair of consecutive numbered, brand new 1956 Kansas license plates. This is 1030. It's 10830. This is 10831. These are both still in the wrapper. So that is the pair. You know what we didn't do? We didn't even look at the can for trivia. I got off. We got so excited about the magazine. We didn't even show what the can was for trivia. Tonight was a Valvoline ESP can. I kind of got off on that. So there's the can, which we completely forgot to do too. So, but anyway, second prize is going to be Jess just wants the owl. Okay. If Shayla doesn't want the owl, I'll send you the owl. I need to see if she wants it or not. So, yes, Mike, these are Labette County. These are both Labette County consecutive numbers, brand new in the package. 10830, 10831, consecutive number, brand new in the pack. Now, like I told you, if we get 10 in the raffle, we're going to pull a third prize. We now have 14 in the raffle at last count. So we got to do another prize. Third name out of the can, unless the first name wants something different. Third name out of the can, Phillips Aviation Oil can. This is a cardboard can. It is full. I will drain this unless they want to pay extra shipping, but not a real ornate can, but a very nice can. And aviation cans are always cool because they're never as common as the regular cans. So that's for the third name. Like I said, we've got 14 in as of right now. So, here we go. If you are in, please pay attention, or you think you're in, please pay attention, because I will read the names of who is in, because in case we've got a mix-up, I don't want anybody to miss out. A tour fiddler. My dad still thinks the old commercial where the Sinclair dinosaur being retired is hilarious. But anyway, I'm going to go through who I've got for the raffle as of right now. If you think you've paid me, the aviation can is cardboard, Kenny. It's probably a 70s era Phillips aviation can. So third name out of the can, out of the big Buick oil can. Unless somebody else, unless somebody says I want that instead of something else. Who's in here as of right now? If I don't read your name off and you've paid me or you think you've paid me, be sure to get a hold of me. We've still got a couple of weeks left. We're going to give this away on May 1st. That is a Sunday, and then announce the new raffle. But lots of names in there with 14 people in as of right now. Good stack of names in there. Nice big pile of names. Whose names are on those? Ray Carmichael is in. My dad is in. Mike Maddie is in. Norma Bronner. Russell Cement Surfer. Kenny Peterson is in. Peter Winters is in. And like I said, Peter, if you weren't on earlier, I need your address for your t-shirt on that as well. Alec is in. Eric Taylor is in. David Weber. Lee Carr. David Woodcocks. William Alderman. And big job, Ron Walensky is all in. Just sent raffle money and shipping for the trivia prize. Okay, sounds good. Chris, how do I get into the raffle? Okay, raffle rules. Big job. We need a 5-gallon lottery spinning wheel. Chris and anybody else listening that is not on the auction, number one, or in the raffle, number one wants to do some more auctions tonight too. So we'll see how things go. To get into the big Buick oil can for the raffle, especially since I know we do have some new viewers on tonight. Put your name in here. It is $1 for every chance. Every chance that goes in here is $1. You send me $5, you're in here 5 times. $10, you're in here 10 times. $20, you're in here 20 times. Pete, I will send address to the. Okay, perfect, no problem. And that's another thing, Pete. And I know a lot of you. I've had your addresses in the past. They're somewhere in here. Here's all my notes, all my sheets, all my logs from all these episodes we do are in here. All the attachments I've had from when I have stuff that we need to look up or talk about, all in there. The past raffles are all in here. So, yeah, it's probably in there somewhere. But, there's a lot of information to sit there and go through. So, anyway, $1 a chance. Starting off with the Sinclair, then we'll go to the license plates, then we'll go to the aviation can. I don't know, if this rate we may end up pulling more names out if anybody wants to give away more stuff. We're at 14 now, so we'll see how things go. 14 people in the drawing as of right now. 3 prizes as of right now, with the Sinclair pump plate being the first name coming out of the big Buick oil can. So, anyway, if you want to get in, you can PayPal me, friends and family only, CSE3@cox.net. That address is on the text part of this video. When we get done, click back on it, hit the text, and that information will be there, as well as my mailing address. I've got several envelopes right here of people that have just thrown it in the mail, and that's perfectly fine as well. Not a big deal. We've still got a couple of weeks on this one. We started this a little bit early because it was the end of March with the Wichita Swap Meet, and then the weekend I was in Kansas City at the Holocaust at the Auschwitz display on Sunday. So we got a few weeks. We lost a few weeks in March, so we started this a little bit early at the end of March. We're going to run it till May 1. May 1, we'll draw for these and then announce the new raffle for May. So you've still got time if you do want to throw it in the mail. Like I said, PayPal friends and family only, since they changed some of the rules on PayPal that are not very user-friendly. So either one of those options is perfect. Or like Maddie stopped by the shop the other day and bought it and gave me money for his chances. So if you're anywhere near, you can do that too. Bill wants another pedal card. So I don't know. We just did a pedal card last month, so we'll probably do something different next month. So got my eye on a couple things if I can get anything done. Alec, no, I have not gotten any medium T-shirts in, Alec. I have not ordered another batch yet, so I don't have any mediums. And that's the only thing I'm out of right now is mediums. I've still got large, extra large, double, and triple. So I do not have any mediums in yet because I'm still okay on the rest of them. So I don't know when I'll order another batch. I've got a few more going out, but I'm still not out of any of the other ones. So it's hard to order just a handful of just mediums on that. So, but I'll try to remember to let you know when we do that, Alex. So appreciate that too. So anyway, that's who's in. We've got 14 names in the big Buick can as of right now. 3 prizes, 3 great prizes. Super excited about it. And I think our winner, whoever our winners are going to be this month, are going to like them too. So if you think you've paid me and I didn't read your name in this packet, be sure to get with me. Or, do whatever, mail it, PayPal or whatever, and make sure we read your name off next week to know that you are in the big Buick oil can for the big raffle. Anyway, any of the other questions, you can always give me a call too. But either way, PayPal, throw it in the mail, whatever works, doesn't matter to me. 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Alex says, okay, I'll just go ahead and go with the large. That's perfect. No problem. I do have gray and black as well, guys, on shirts. So if you have a preference, gray or black, let me know that as well when you order shirts. And so I make sure I get what you want sent to you. It's like a couple of you guys are getting thirsty. I keep forgetting about that. I keep getting off track. So, and Alec, your last payment came through non-friend. It came through regular PayPal. So your entries in the raffle, you didn't get them all because of what PayPal takes. So might double check that on, make sure you're on friends and family on that as well too. So anyway, like I said, I picked up a bunch of cars finally this week. I had to start hauling some of this stuff in. So we've got a lot of videos that I've got to get done on some of this stuff. Obviously, like we talked about last week, the 57 Roadmaster and the 60 Parkwood are epic. Super excited about those cars. What did I pick up this week? 75 Ford Elite, 77 Ford LTD2 Brougham. I didn't know they made a Brougham and an LTD2, but this one is a Brougham. Power windows, power seat, dual remote mirrors, AM, FM, tilt. A loaded up LTD2. And this thing still has the hubcaps on it. It's so original. Stutz Badge. Couple of newer ones, not that important. 07 Pacifica. I bought an Expedition that I think I'm actually going to put in the hold category. 2000 Expedition, you think, yeah, that's junk. But I got to thinking, it's an Eddie Bauer, and I'm going to sit on it forever, but you're going to think about what cycles, what comes back around. Well, the Eddie Bauer is kind of the fancy one. Probably put that in the hold category for a while. See what happens. 78 GMC heavy half, two-wheel drive heavy half, long bed GMC. 68 El Camino. 88 or 89 Caprice, and I believe the Caprice is a 9C1 cop car. It does still have the remains of the stickers on it, no motor or tranny. Have not had time to check the trim tag on that to see if it is actually a 9C1. Kevin says, any Le Mans? I didn't pick up any Le Mans this week. I've got a lot of Le Manses, but I didn't pick any of them up, didn't pick any up this week. As well as a 1971 Mustang Coupe. That's a pretty good car as well. So, Hudson Badge. Kim says she's got to bail off. Thanks for being here tonight. So that stuff I actually did physically pick up and is now in the yard. Obviously, got to start getting some of these videos done. Big Job says great selection. Yeah, it's a pretty wide selection there that I did get picked up this week. Kenny, 68 El Camino original motor. I opened the hood of that car yesterday after I unloaded it, and I don't think anything has been touched under the hood of that car ever. The left front fender and the door, it's a red car. The left front fender and door have white paint around the edges, so I think the fender and door may have been replaced. But there is nothing under the hood that looks like it's been touched. Battery's still in it. I mean, it literally looks like they shut the key off and parked it. I mean, everything is there under the hood. Basic small block, two-barrel small block, probably a 307. I don't know. But steering, brakes, air, and nothing has been touched under the hood of that thing. I was kind of surprised when I popped the hood that it was literally that clean and unmolested. Is black interior, Kenny. Black interior, bench seat, tilt column. So that's kind of odd as well. But like I said, I'll be getting you guys some videos on that stuff here sooner rather than later, hopefully. That's a badge. Number one says $8 on the El Camino. I don't think that's going to quite get there. Number one. Kenny wants to see it. Yeah, we'll be bringing you some content on it for sure. Arthur, is there a way you can show us a picture of these cars now, even if it's just pointing a phone at the webcam? Yeah, I do have. I think I've got a picture on my phone. I'm actually going to be putting a video up of that, and that El Camino is actually in. Not all these came from the same place. A lot of these came from one place this week. The Elite, the LTD2, the El Camino, the Caprice, and the Mustang came from one place. The GMC came from another place. The Expedition came from another place. So I've got a video on where the El Camino and the Mustang came from. Just like I like to do a video exactly as I found them, exactly as we're sitting. I'll see. I think I got a picture of the El Camino on here. So I'll get that video up. That is a video that's coming up this week, as is, where is, exactly as I found them. And then I'll start getting you some individual videos on them, here in the very near future. Yeah, there it is. And this is exactly as I found it. So Mike had a friend with an Elite. It was a really nice Ford. Yeah, and this Elite, same thing as the LTD2. Power windows, power seat. It was a fancy one. There's no doubt about that. Dad Victor, one of my kids dreaming of an El Camino. Kenny says, Eloy, don't look. I've got a couple of El Caminos in stock. I've got a 71 in stock that has had all the metal work done except the left rear quarter. The little rust in the fenders has been patched. The right quarter's been skinned. It runs. Just needs finished. That's a 71. Here's the 68. Just as I found it, just sitting there in the sand. So another project, having anything in the way of 61 to 66 Ford trucks. I've got some, depending on what you're looking for. Most of what I've got are pretty much Parks trucks. I've got a 66 that's mostly still intact, but a lot of my 61 to 66 Fords are pretty much Parks trucks. Nothing that's a real good, clean project in those. Jay says he needs that 71. A 71 is a pretty good car. It really is. So But anyway, that video on those vehicles, as is, where is, will be coming up this week. Another video that's going to be coming up this week, probably this video will probably be tomorrow night, actually. I got a buddy of mine who, in sometime in the future, not today or tomorrow, but sometime in the future, he's thinking about moving. And because of that, he's starting to thin some stuff down. Kevin's got to bail off. Glad you made it tonight. So he called me, and I've been going through some stuff, and I've actually bought a ton of stuff from him. A ton of stuff. I got a lot of hauling to do there. And these are all loose parts. Do I have any hood scoop for the old big job Ford? No, I am out of those Super Duty hood scoops. I've had several in the past. I am out of them as of right now. Arthur Fiddler, I like the 73 El Camino, Malibu, and Laguna, and the Pontiac versions of the Colonnade coupes. Yeah, if you've been on here with us before, and be sure to check out this video. My dad actually bought a 73 GMC Sprint at Mecum a couple years ago. There's a factory 454 Sprint. So if you like those cars on tour, be sure to check that out. It's on my channel. It's a couple years old from when he bought that car at Mecum, but they made like 76, 70. It's a 1973 Sprint with a big block, and they made like 76 of them that way. So if you like those, be sure to check that video out. You'll get a kick out of that too. Big Job says he's got a 64 F100 short bed in stock. That's a good project, so there might be a possibility there. Pete, 78 to 81 Camaros with T-tops that don't need a lot of body work. I've got one T-top car that doesn't need a lot of body work, but it needs everything else. It's a V6 car. The interior's out of it, but it is a T-top car. So, I do have one of those that might be a good project. Stutz Badge. Eloy, I need better pictures of the El Camino. So, like I said, the first video will be up later this week on the walk around, just exactly where I found that. And then I will get detailed videos of them up here in the near future. But this other video I've got coming up, this buddy of mine, as he's thinning stuff down, like I said, I've bought a ton of stuff. The video that's going to be coming up, and he had his stuff sorted. He was very organized on stuff. And I was buying stuff in sections, So what Pete says he'll call, that's perfect. Well, I bought, like, he had a whole section, a whole corner of Newell stock GM, about a pickup bed, right out of pickup bed load, because it basically filled the back of my 8-foot bed pickup. So I bought that section. And then he had like a whole building where, and you'll see this, where he had two beams, like a 30 or 40 foot building, both sides of these beams, all of his headlight bezels were hung on them. I bought all the headlight bezels. He had another section where all the grills were hanging in like 4 bays of a garage. I bought all the grills that were hanging in there. So he had a section of garnish moldings, windshield garnish moldings, back window garnish moldings, side door garnish moldings, sorted and marked and hanging in this section. So I bought that section. So I'm going to bring you a video this week on that stuff from exactly as I found it. I've got a bunch of it hauled in. I still got a long ways to go, especially when I called him last week and bought a bunch more. So I'm not gaining ground very quick. So that video will be coming up this week as well. BW. So I guess you don't have. No, I definitely don't have any of the actual Pontiac ones, which I think basically was the same thing as the Ford hood scoop. So anyway, Chris is a fan of the 6061 Chevy trucks. BW is building a stash to take to Carlisle. Yeah. So anyway, that video is going to be coming up. You're going to see some of that stuff exactly as I found it. Plus, I'm going to have to do some more videos up there now after I got off the phone with him a couple days ago and ended up buying a whole bunch more stuff. So that's going to be coming up. And there again, if you see something in those videos you're interested in, give me a call. Be more than happy to have a conversation with you about it. If there's something you see in there that you need, just let me know. Plus, like I said, at some point in time this week, hopefully the wind dies down and I can get some videos done at the yard. Joe says, yep, more 60 to 66 Chevy trucks. So didn't pick any of those up this week. But so we'll definitely be bringing you the as is, where is on this one load. I think there's about 10 cars on that video. I think I bought 11 cars from him, but the 11th car is at another location. So that as is, where is quick video will come up. The stuff from my buddy's place of all those parts that I found is going to be coming up. Hopefully the wind will die down some this week, and I can start getting some of this new inventory stuff shot for you because there's so much of it. Oh, that's right. And Joe brought up another thing. I haven't done a video on turbo superchargers yet. So I got to get that done. I got a lot of stuff we got to be talking about here, guys. I'm getting behind. I'm slacking on you. But this wind has just been brutal about the last 5 days. I think Wednesday and Thursday were really bad, like gusts of up to 60 miles an hour on Wednesday and Thursday. Friday wasn't much better. Not as bad, but wasn't much better. Yesterday and today, you could at least walk outside yesterday and today. But as far as wind noise, we definitely still had enough wind noise that would have definitely shown up on videos. So hopefully I get a calm day. I can do that. And maybe next weekend we'll get a calm day where we can do a yard walk. Plus, it looks like Dalton from Pole Barn Garage is going to try to be here next week. So maybe bring you some stuff with Dalton. Super excited about that. Can't wait to see where that project is going to go. William, did you get your loader running yet? No. I still don't have a loader. I'm about at my wit's end without having a loader. They've still been fighting the starter drive. They can't get the right bendix because it's going to mesh the flywheel. I was able to cross the number over and found a number for another reman starter, and I ordered an entire starter this time because they're saying we can't get the right bendix to mesh right. So I'm supposed to have I crossed the number. Napa had one in the system, but not close, so they're having to ship it in. But hopefully tomorrow, worst case scenario Tuesday, Napa will have a starter that hopefully will mesh with that flywheel and get that thing out to the yard. So Joe says windy in Missouri every other day. That's about what it's been here. Anybody find any morel mushrooms? I don't think we've got them around here. So BW's got to head out. Glad you made it tonight. Rusty Nail sounds like my boss. He's got cars all over and needs to get picked up and nowhere to put them. So there's a Hudson badge. Dispatch, you guys must all have windmills in Kansas, free power. We got a lot of windmills all over, but they say most of the power they generate actually goes out of state. But there are a lot of windmills here, Hudson. So anyway, a couple of different videos. Like I said, the walk around on these cars just as is, where is. No, not anything deep or detailed, just a quick walk around. I'm going to be bringing you individual good walk arounds in the near future. The ones from my buddy place where all these parts are just hanging in these buildings that I've been cleaning out, got more to go. Well, I've got a lot more to go now that I bought a bunch more Thursday or whatever it was. So that's going to be coming up as well. So anyway, that pretty much works through tonight's notes for Sunday Night Chat. So we will start working towards a wrap-up, which always takes a little while with this group, which is fine. That's why I always announce we'll start working towards a wrap-up. I don't say we're wrapping up because it never works that way. Joe's got to jump off. He's got to go. Perfectly understandable. Jason's got to pee, so thanks for sharing that, Jason. At least we're all up to speed with what you got going on. We'll help you go. Number one wants a wrap-up auction. We'll probably wait till next week on that stuff. So, however, brings up another point, though. Something else I wanted to ask about. If you guys are interested, Buzz and I talked about this a little bit. Buzz says he thinks I should do it. He said he thinks you guys would go for it. Is anybody interested in some stuff maybe that is a little higher dollar, but with a minimum bid? Something to roll around in your head for next week so we can talk about that and see what you guys think. If I've got something I've got $100 in, I don't want to sell it for 28. But if we started at 100, then maybe, then I'm cool with that. And if it brings a few bucks more, then I'm great. And sometimes I may not always start it at exactly what I've got in it, but somewhere in the ballpark. So, Kenny says maybe. Big Job says he was thinking the same thing. Frank says yes. So kick that around a little bit. I want your guys' opinion on it. We'll get into some more of that next week. And then it wouldn't be, and if nobody wants it at the minimum bid, that's fine. I'll put it back. It's not a big deal. I'm just thought Norma says she's in. Dispatch says interesting. So we'll kick that around. And if I see something, we'll talk about it some more next week. If I see something cool, maybe we'll throw it up there. But just curious as to what everybody thinks. If some people wanted to do something, a little bit better stuff that's a little more higher dollar. And I'm not talking $5,000 signs, but stuff that's $100, $200, something like that. So something like that. Lee says yes. Pete says I'll try. So good, some good, solid, positive response already. Big Job says try it. So we'll see how it goes. I'll kind of keep my eyes peeled and see what happens. So, but anyway, I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting tired. I know some of you are getting tired because some of you guys got to get to bed, especially you guys back east where you're an hour ahead of us. So we'll talk about that a little bit more next week. And like I said, stay tuned. Toy Tuesday, what's coming up Toy Tuesday? I know we've got a viewer box from Dispatch. We're going to pop open and see what we've got in there. And then I'll see what I get ready. Obviously, I found that super cool sign, local sign, the other night that I need to try to get rinsed off. Like I said, it's hand painted. Some of the paint's popping. So I got to be careful with that, trying to get it cleaned up. So lots of stuff going on. And but I know we're going to have a viewer box for Toy Tuesday for sure. So I don't know what's in there. So depending on what's all in there, I may just kind of grab a couple small things to work in with the viewer box for Tuesday night. So anyway, Steel Pony says, great show. Thanks. Eloy says that would be good. Big Job says, good show. Well, and like I always say, it's because of you guys. Dispatch is 2 hours. Dispatch is so far east, he's 2 hours ahead. Holy cow, that's crazy. So anyway, I'm going to get ready to head out and wrap things up. I got a few more things I want to get done yet tonight. I'll keep an eye on comments for a few more minutes here as we work to the end of this thing. As we wrap up, as crazy as this sounds, episode number 107. Thanks to you guys. We've done this 107 times. We're having a lot of fun. We've got great support. Tell your friends, invite them to come on over, hang out with us, join in, see what they think of what we're doing. We had some new ones on tonight. Appreciate you guys being here and joining in the fun. Hope you come back. Norman says, great show. Buzz says, great show. Lots of cool things happening. Like I said, be sure to stay tuned for what Dalton with Pole Barn Garage and I see what kind of antics we can come up with next weekend, and see how that may get interesting as well. Mike says, thanks, everyone. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we'll see what we come up with on getting a garage mate for the Holy Goat in Pole Barn Garage. So Jason says, I work afternoons and I don't like my job, so whatever. He's kind of good with it. He's open for whatever. So anyway, that'll do it for me. As always, thanks for watching, everybody. Stay tuned. Big Job's got asphalt going down tomorrow. Number one, I think we should have raffle levels and raffle segments. Badges, cans, toy signs, $10, $25, $50, $100 levels for all budgets. We can look at that. That sounds complicated as far as my end. So, we might be able to do something like that. And I know, you guys are hanging out watching, and I know I screw up plenty of times, but I'm trying to keep all this stuff tied together. I'm trying to keep all my notes in order. I'm trying to keep up with comments on both formats and trying not to botch the chat. So that's what's tricky for me. That's why when we do the auction stuff, we do it in one segment, a piece at a time, so that I can keep my notes straight. And that is a little bit of a challenge. So, that's something to think about. But it's going to be, it's tough to do. That's right. No one says I need a 25th hour and an 8th day. That's 100% correct. Dan liked the history on the Stutz tonight, so thanks. Appreciate that. So, and there again, I always want to listen to your guys' comments, your feedback, because this show is more about you than it is about me. So, yeah, better find me a secretary. And Shayla helps out with some of the paperwork, but realistically, most of what I do, it would take me longer to train somebody than to just do it. So that's kind of the boat that I'm in, unfortunately, but that's what happens. So, but as always, don't ever not throw a suggestion out there. Definitely, something to think about. But keeping it simple is also very important as far as me keeping my stuff put together and keeping my notes together. And then, the other thing about it, just like these pages we looked at earlier from the last 3 weeks, I'm highlighting in orange as I get paid and ship auction items. Because I've got to keep track of this stuff, and it's work. I mean, it is work. And I appreciate your guys' participation in the auction and your involvement. And it does help. I do make a few bucks on some of this stuff. Obviously Joe got a smoking deal on the Phillips cans tonight, but that's okay. Joe's bought a lot of cans from us. So there's a lot of cool things happening, and I'm always open for your suggestions, and I'm always going to listen. And if you come up with something that we can incorporate, absolutely, we'll sure try to do it. But on the other hand, I've got to somewhat keep it simple to keep this organized as I'm working through it. Scott says the magazine was great tonight. Thanks for that. Appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody coming by here. You know, you hang out. We're on here for over 2 hours. You're basically spending your whole Sunday evening here with us. And if it weren't for you guys, we wouldn't have a chat. So welcome to the new guys. I hope you're still on. I hope you come back. Tell your friends about us. Let them swing by. We have a lot of fun on here. We have a lot. It's all gearhead stuff. We have a good time. So that's the whole purpose of it. So thanks, everybody. I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and start working towards the end. Like I said, and if you guys are new on here, I always say we're going to start working towards the end, and I always say we're going to start working towards the end because it never happens that quickly. So, but anyway, that pretty much does it for me. I will keep an eye on comments here for the next minute or two as we get ready to finally click the end stream button. But as always, thanks for stopping by. Stay tuned. Like I said, Toy Tuesday, we've got a viewer box, and I'll probably pick out a few other small items to throw in there until we see what's in the viewer box. If the viewer box, there's too much stuff in there, we may not get to the other items, but I'll have a few things to go with it just in case. We will get the video up from my buddy's place with all these new parts I've got coming in. We'll get the walk-around video up from this load I bought coming up soon. Oh, I bought 2 more cars on that load too. I had only bought 9 last week when we talked. I got 2 more bought as well on that deal that I haven't told you about yet. There is a 37 Olds and a 39 Ford sedan coming in on that load as well. So look forward to that. So like I said, Norman says hit the like button to wrap it up. Appreciate that. Thank you. And that pretty much does it for me. Stay tuned. We'll get those videos up. Hopefully we'll have some new inventory by the end of the week. If we get a day where it's not 60-mile-an-hour winds, we can get some video shot because there's a lot of cool stuff to show you guys. I know you're going to like it. It's going to be cool, and we're going to have some more fun with it. So, number one, only union workers brag about not doing their jobs. So, those videos are going to be coming up. And as always, I definitely hope to see you back here, 7 o'clock next Sunday evening, 7 o'clock Central Time, Sunday night live chat. We do this every week, as bonkers as it sounds. More Sunday night shenanigans at 7 o'clock for the 108th time next week. So, thanks for being here. You guys are what make this what it is. If it wasn't for your support, you guys jumping on here, you watch, you hang out, the super chats, you bring your friends over, the auctions, it's all great. So thanks for watching, everybody. Stay tuned. More cool stuff coming up this week. We'll see what kind of shenanigans I can get into with Dalton from Pole Barn Garage next weekend. We'll get some of that content up. We're going to have a lot of fun. Stay tuned. More exciting things to come. As always, thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you next Sunday night. If we don't see you Tuesday on Toy Tuesday Live, or you never know, me and Dalton might do some live stuff too. Who knows? It's all wide open for next weekend. Thanks a lot, everybody. I appreciate you spending your Sunday evening with me and with all of us in the group and making this what it is. And another thing that's great about this group, there were some comments that popped up that I didn't recognize because there were some guys that a guy had a question about some shifters, and another guy on there had his answer. So that popped up. You know, I didn't want to bring that in the chat, guys. I'm glad you guys got something worked out. It's perfect. I didn't mention that because I was rolling on some other stuff, but that's what's so great is a lot of this stuff, you guys have the answers for each other, and that's what's amazing. Number one still wants to bid $8 on whatever we want to throw up, so we'll save that for next week, number one. We'll get ready to wrap this thing up. One more Hudson badge just for good measure. Thanks for being here, everybody, and we will see you next Sunday night, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time for Sunday Night Live Chat. Thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you then.